The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Get your home ready for winter. Schedule your furnace tune-up with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and save $30. Visit standardheating.com to book and lock in your savings.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Carl Phillips again, out at the Wilmot Farm, Grover's Mill, New Jersey. That's the thing directly in front of me. What I can see of the object itself doesn't look very much like a meteor, at least not the meteors I've seen. It looks more like a huge cylinder. Has a diameter of, what would you say, Professor Pearson?
About 30 yards.
About 30 yards. Well, I've never seen anything like it. The curious spectators now are pressing close to the object in spite of the efforts of the police to keep them back. Would you mind standing one side, please? Here's Mr. Wilmot, owner of the farm here. Would you please tell the radio audience as much as you remember of this rather unusual visitor that dropped in your backyard?
I was listening to the radio and kind of drowsing.
And then you saw something.
Well, not first off. I heard something.
Yes, then what?
Seen a kind of greenish streak and then zingo. Something smacked the ground. Knocked me clear out of my chair.
Well, were you frightened, Mr. Wilmot?
Sure. I reckon I was kind of riled.
Well, thank you, Mr. Wilmot. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you want me to tell
No, that's
some
quite
more?
all right. That's plenty. Ladies and gentlemen, you've just heard Mr. Wilmot, owner of the farm where this thing has fallen.
Wow, what the hell is going on? Welcome to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. The War of the Worlds coming.
That was quite a thing on this day in 1938. A lot of hubbub surrounding that, and today we'd all be in jail if we tried something like that.
If you're too young to have any idea what the hell we're talking about, the War of the Worlds was a famous phony radio broadcast that detailed an alien invasion.
It was based on a book from the late 1800s, and they decided, hey, let's make this into a radio play. They did say several times, hey, this is a work of fiction. This is just a sci-fi broadcast, but the problem was nobody really listened to that show. This was CBS radio. Everyone listened to NBC, so people turned over during commercials or music interludes.
Right.
And then they just hear a little bit, and they start calling their local news agencies who have no idea, of course, what's going on. And then there's conspiracies out there that, well, they're lying to us. They don't want us to know about this alien invasion, and they did such a good job in that radio drama that people believed it. The FCC, the government had to get involved and say, all right, no more of this kind of thing. It creates some mass panic. But it was just like the perfect storm of people kind of half heard what was going on.
Right.
Those that were listening, it was so believable, and they were so creative in the telling of the story that folks bought it.
I mean, there were grown folks running naked through the streets, pleading for their lives. They were convinced that this was the end of all time. The aliens are here. We're all going to die. And it was just an absolute show.
And what do you do in 1938, right? You're not logging on to the internet.
No.
You're going to your neighbor who might have heard it and said, yeah, dude, this is going on.
Right.
We got to hide. I mean, there's sounds of a battle eventually.
You didn't have a lot of sources.
No, not at all.
Just your friends and family, whoever lived nearby. Maybe, I don't know, did they have telephones? Could you get the telephone going? Maybe make a phone call in 1938? I don't know the history
Yeah,
of
but the operators were busy plugging and unplugging those quarter-inch cables or whatever they were.
Yeah.
It's fun. That's a fun bit, even after nearly 100 years. To hear that old broadcast is really interesting. Fast forward many, many years, and I really liked the movie with Tom, for God's
Cruise?
sake, Jesus, he's the most popular man in the world, and I couldn't come. Yes, Tom, that must have been 15 years ago or so. There was a movie called The War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise.
Yep,
I never saw-
2005. It was such a good movie.
Except for what, Ashley? Come on, if you know that movie, you know what the hell I'm talking about.
The ending.
The ending is one of the worst, what's the term? There's a term, anticlimactic. One of the worst anticlimactic endings I've ever seen in a movie. I watched it at the theater, and I really enjoyed it. You know, and I'd seen other War of the Worlds movies. They started pumping them out not long after that Orson Welles bit happened in 1938. The Tom Cruise was just, the Tom Cruise version was just the latest War of the Worlds movie. I was in the theater, and people were laughing, including myself, laughing out loud at the ending because it was so friggin' stupid. These massive, towering spaceships, walking alien ships that were just melting human beings from one end of town to the other. They stopped working because they caught a cold. It was horrible.
Yeah,
Come on, make something up there at the end.
And I thought the sound was kind of dumb, too. It just
sound.
wasn't that just the horn or whatever.
Oh, I like that sound.
Yeah, that sound freaks me out.
Oh, I liked that a lot.
For an alien? I mean, I don't know. It was to me, I thought that was kind of silly.
Oh, I thought it was kind of cool when the sumbitches in the distance would go.
Yeah, same here.
And everyone thought, oh, that's my ass right there.
Oh, no. The orchestra's in town. Look out.
That was the burritos from last night.
No, not literally my ass. Like, that's the end of my life. But anyway, yeah, I dug that movie, The War of the Worlds. So this is the anniversary of when that cut loose on all those sorry sumbitches in 1938. That must have been a freaky experience for our great-grandparents. Or I suppose my grandparents were. Yeah.
And we'd know today within, what, an hour or less that it was all fake back then. It might have took the rest of your life to get that information.
That's freaky stuff. Speaking of freaky things, did you hear that some lady just woke up after a 13-year coma?
Yeah.
That's a long stretch right there.
Can you imagine not believing those people? No, I wasn't really out for... It felt like just a split second. There's no way I was out for 13 years.
Yeah, you would think they were messing with you.
Does anyone know the details? Does this lady know who she is now that she's awake? Is she doing okay? Does she remember? Anyone know all I know is that this lady woke up from a 13... That, number one, is mind-blowing. 13 years this gal was out cold. So does she... know what the hell gives?
I didn't see. That's a good question. I mean, all the articles just talked about, hey, this person's aunt woke up from 13 years, and then they talked about the questions she had, like, well, what's been going on? And then they had to tell some pretty big stuff.
Yeah, there was a pandemic.
Yeah, you know what a pandemic? Have you ever heard of COVID?
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. Like, if they were going through, like, the way the world is now and, like, all the crap, I'd be like, just put me out. Put me out next time.
I'll keep napping, actually. I'm good, I think.
As awful as 13 years of your life wiped out by a powerful nap, she picked a good chunk of time to sleep through. The last 4 or 5 years specifically have been miserable. Does anyone know what caused this? Was it a car wreck or something?
There's really not much information.
Next to nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It just came from one guy who was just excited and announced that he goes, hey, this is amazing. My aunt just woke up from a 13-year coma.
Is he playing games with us? Wow, that's a hell of a story. 13 friggin' years.
Just imagine that, though.
Hell, 13 years ago, Ashley, you were in friggin' middle school.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I was graduating high school at that time.
2011.
Yep.
That's a long time ago. I'd love to hear more information if it's all a true story.
As much as I wish my dad was still around, obviously, there are times I thought, I'm glad he didn't have to see this, various news items over the last, decade since he's passed, or 11 years now.
Yep.
That kind of thing, it's like a little silver lining.
Yeah, I hear you on that. My old man checked out coming up on a year ago, so he experienced some of these things that you're referencing, Josh. And let me just tell you, maybe your old man would have had the same reaction. Some of the bizarro, just horrible things that have been happening over the last 4 or 5 years. And things like the conspiracy theories that people believe and the violence, the meaningless violence. I'll just tell you this, Josh, and maybe your dad would have had the same reaction, and maybe this would make you feel a little bit better about him experiencing these things. My old man was just confused. He just didn't understand how people operate. That was more his reaction. It wasn't sadness or anger at what was going on. He just didn't get it. Like, why grown folks are doing this? That was more his reaction.
Yeah, I think my dad would have been more just like kind of sad, disappointed where things were. But, I would have liked his take on stuff. He had some wise dad stuff to say. Probably would have made me feel a little better during those times. But
13 years this gal was out cold, supposedly. In 2011, when this gal went to sleep, that was back in the time when Charlie Sheen went mental with all that talk about tiger blood.
Oh, my God.
Just to bring you back to 13 years ago, that was back when Charlie Sheen was just smooth out of his mind and doing the tiger blood winning gimmick. which was everywhere. That was everywhere, wasn't it, Josh?
So annoying.
Winning.
Imagine that was like the last thing she remembers after, before she went into the coma, and she asked, "So is Charlie Sheen still like the biggest star on the planet?" No, not so much. That kind of died out pretty quickly after.
Oh, I still consider Charlie Sheen one of the biggest stars on the planet. I love Two and a Half Men.
Charlie Sheen considers himself one of the biggest stars on the planet.
I spent some time with that show, Two and a Half Men, and even though you saw every joke coming, I still enjoyed the hell out of he and that little scrawny guy, Cryer, John. 2011, Josh, you probably remember this because you're a big fan. The Oprah Winfrey Show played out its final episode in 2011.
It was emotional.
Oh. You got to, am I making that up? I thought you actually liked her program there for a while.
Oh, yeah. When we were kids, we'd watch Oprah.
You get a car. You get a car.
Well, see, I never got involved with her during that. I've heard that punchline over and over again. I wasn't involved with Oprah Winfrey when she did the "You Got a Car" thing, and then Tom Cruise played with himself live on her show at one point. I go back to when she first started. She was just one of those let's get shocking, disgusting people on stage type television hosts. She had no choice when she first started to fall in line with that gimmick. Here's a two-headed guy. Here's a couple who are married, but they're brother and sister. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my grandma used to watch. Well, we watched pretty much during the day whatever grandma watched, and she watched Oprah, and she's America's treasure.
So Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey is America's treasure.
Her and Kelly Clarkson.
So I didn't see Oprah in her more mature phase. I was there in the 80s when she first started. I mean, I watched Oprah Winfrey when she had Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley from Kiss on the show just to tell sex stories to the crowd, And all the women in the audience had to act like they were so offended and disgusted by these stories of sex on the road and whatnot.
Can you imagine if this aunt wakes up, she's like, "Hey, can you tell me what happened? What's going on with my favorite newscaster, Matt Lauer? Is he still dominating the morning shows?"
Tell me
what happened to Bill Cosby?
Well, Bill Cosby was before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about my favorite Hollywood producer, Harvey Weinstein? Yeah. Is he still making great movies?
Oh, my God.
Refresh my memory on the Matt Lauer thing.
Well, he got kicked out of morning TV for some sexual misconduct allegations.
Yep.
Oh, yeah? It rings a bell.
Supposedly he had, in our boss's office, the big boss, have you ever seen this? She has a button that'll close the door. Right, it releases the magnet that holds the door open.
Okay.
She does? Wow.
Yeah, it's fancy.
And he supposedly had one of those that, there'd be a hot intern in there. He'd close that and say, "What do you think of Matt Lauer's penis?" That kind of thing.
Yeah, he pulls junk out.
Yeah, that was
Is that
heartbreaking.
right?
That was a heartbreaking thing.
So it's heartbreaking for you?
Yeah, I grew up watching him on the news. So
Well, I did
yeah,
too, but I wasn't
sucked.
emotionally attached to the guy.
Matt Lauer. I remember the name. Now that you bring it up, it sounds familiar. 2011, the last time we're talking about this lady who supposedly just cut loose out of a coma after 13 years. 13. The old joke. Still love it. We're talking about some of the things that maybe she last remembers when she was awake in 2011. It says here, Kim Kardashian was fresh off her divorce to that local dude, Chris Humphries.
Oh, Humphries.
It's a long time ago.
God.
Oh, here's a good one from Naughty Insurance Agent Jesus. I see they're still making Star Wars movies. Han Solo, will he lead the next one? How's he doing? How's Han Solo?
He gone. Netflix had a great response to this tweet, because at some point in the last 13 years, they fully transitioned to just streaming service. They responded, "She can keep the DVDs."
Well, I'll be damned. That is a hell of a story. And like I said, I'd like to hear more details on this lady. How did she get into a coma? What does she know now that she's come to? Does she recognize her family? Does she know who the hell she is?
If you woke up from a 13-year coma, would you assume that your spouse stayed faithful to you and was waiting for you to wake up, or would you assume they moved on?
That would
They
be one of
moved
my
on.
first questions. Like, how many guys has she hooked up with? And how long did it last? Was I in a coma for more than a couple weeks, or when did it start?
Yeah, exactly. 48 hours into it, she's like, he'll be down for a while.
Dude, the sad thing is he probably did leave because I think the statistic for men leaving when their woman gets sick is insanely high.
The statistics on men who leave their wives when their wives are sick?
Yeah,
you do hear those stories about, a woman, has terminal cancer and the husband immediately starts cheating on her.
Deuces.
It's not just men, though. I sneezed on Monday, and my wife filed for divorce yesterday.
We'll get
There was a sneeze, Ashley.
Just one. I didn't know that men leave their wives when their wives are dying of cancer. That's a dark subject. It's funny you bring that up, Dana. What did you ask? If you woke up from a 13-year coma, would you assume your spouse was still there waiting for you?
Yes.
Is that basically what you said?
Yeah.
Some folks, when they heard this story on that godless social media, some folks, when they heard this story of the lady waking up from a 13-year coma, they asked some funny questions. Well, I guess I should say this. They made some funny statements on what they thought her first question would be after she woke up, or what might be the first things you'd say to her when she came to from a 13-year coma. I have to say that the great majority of these statements are not funny at all, but there was one. There was one. What would your first question be after waking up from a 13-year coma? And one dude said, did my wife hold out hope that I'd wake up, or did she become the town whore?
Either or, no in between.
Josh, Terry Gar is dead, and I got the blues.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah, my dad told me that.
Terrific all-time comedy actress Terry Gar has died at 79 years old from multiple sclerosis. I mean, just one of the greatest.
I've got a nice tribute to her. Well, maybe that's douchey to say, but I have a tribute to her coming up in the news. A lot of clips, a lot of stuff that made her who she was. She was quirky. She was sexy. I mean, there was everything in this one woman. She was great. She's the 80s to me. She has so many of the movies that I loved as a kid. She was in.
By damn, she was so talented, and one of the most adorable, pretty ladies ever. Terry Gar. I can't question anything that you said, Josh. That's a nice statement.
Would you ever think?
And 80s, yeah, she was everywhere.
Would you ever think? So she passes away at 79, and one of the first people to comment on it is director Mel Brooks, who's like 98, that he outlived her.
Almost by 20 years, too. That's insane.
Mel Brooks commented he's still alive?
Yeah. I guess I did not remember that he was still breathing.
Yeah, he's still kicking.
Terry Gar, interestingly, got her break in show business as a background dancer in Elvis Presley movies. I don't know that I'd ever heard that before, but by damn is that interesting. And that's kind of how she broke into the business. She came from a entertainment family, for a lack of a better term. Her dad was a comic. Her mother was a dancer, one of the original Rockettes at New York City's Radio Music Hall. So she was in a show business family is the term I was looking for.
There's a pretty famous interview she did with David Letterman where Letterman was trying to get her to admit that her and Elvis, the two of them, were intimate. And she's, and then by the end of it, because he keeps peppering her and peppering her, she's like, okay, fine, bang, bang. So she jokingly says, yeah, her and Elvis, they had each other carnally.
And she was so wonderful on the David Letterman show.
Oh, she was great.
He credits Terry Gar to building some real momentum in the early days of the David Letterman show in 1982. Bill Murrow would pop by, and that kind of helped Dave, helped the show gain some visibility. And there's a handful of other big stars, but it was the interactions between Dave and Terry Gar that Letterman himself credits the success of the show. And they were so good together. A lot of folks probably know this. Maybe some of you younger people do not. There were rumors that Letterman and Terry Gar were a couple because their interactions were so genuine and so funny and so authentic that folks thought, well, they must be dating the way. No, she was just that friggin' brilliant.
And in the same segment, joking about Elvis and her, they joke about David Letterman and her hooking up as well.
That all sounds so familiar. I'm sure I saw that episode because I was a massive Letterman fan, especially in the early days.
Letterman convinced her to get in the shower once on a show.
You're a very charming and funny woman. Please take a shower. Please. Please.
Okay, all right, fine.
Go in there and just say goodnight. Get all wet, but you have your hose on.
I can't take them off with 10 cameras in here.
Just turn on the shower.
I hate you. Why am I doing this?
Dano, just once I'd like you to take a shower at the end of one of our shows.
Anytime, man.
The quote that I saw in this article on the passing of Terry Gar that I think says it all is she made everything she was in better. She absolutely did. And her most notary isn't a word, her most notable roles, probably Young Frankenstein, Tootsie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. But, I mean, what a life she had in her younger years. Like I said, a backup dancer for 5 or 6 Elvis movies. For God's sake, the stories this woman could tell. Elvis Presley, for Pete's sake. She did television appearances on the original Star Trek, on the original Batman, the Sonny and Cher show,
She was in Dumb and Dumber.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the ladies dancing in Dumb and Dumber.
I would have completely forgotten about that. Well, it's a sad day. It is. Her mother is still pardon me, I misread that. She's survived by her daughter, and she has a grandson as well.
Didn't
I'm looking
she also
forward
play
to
Phoebe's mom on Friends?
She sure did.
Never saw it.
Yep.
I don't remember that.
I'm looking forward to hearing what you have for us during your news segment, Josh. Oh. You guys know what I went ahead and did yesterday?
What's that?
What?
I voted.
Oh, me too.
And you know what song was playing in my head, Josh, as I was walking up to the, what do they call it, the voting booth?
Was it Born in the USA?
I am a real American.
Sure. Did you get your sticker?
Fight for the rights of... Yes, I did. I voted.
I hope you didn't post a selfie of you and your ballot because that'll get you some prison time or whatever. They're coming after you for that.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
Selfies to show who you voted for?
Yeah, some people decided to do that and you can get in some trouble.
Jesus Christ.
Is that every state? I thought that was just in some states.
I
that's
have.
illegal.
Well, it's a federal
Yeah, I was going to say it's federal. So.
election, so I'm going to guess every state.
I'm
Did you want to go to the state where you could take a selfie?
Yeah.
No,
You could
I
look it up.
No, I just saw a map on Twitter yesterday about that, and so I was just curious.
Oh, me and a few other losers went wandering into the city hall and did some voting. Oh, yeah, Terry Gar was in Mr. Mom, although I walked out of Mr. Mom.
Oh, I liked Mr. Mom. You didn't like that?
I thought it was awful.
Oh. Well,
I walked out.
I think the few years between us make a difference.
Maybe.
So, when you're younger, you're easier to please.
Michael Keaton?
I love Michael Keaton.
Well, so did I, and that's why I walked out of Mr. Mom. I thought he was so funny. And, again, back to Letterman. My sister and I were obsessed with the David Letterman show from the time it broke loose in 1982. I don't know what it was that drew us to Letterman. He was different. He wasn't as straight-laced and slick as your typical television host was. Not back then. Now you've got all different kinds of wacky television hosts. In 1982, Johnny Carson with the suit and tie and more of a straight-laced approach. Letterman was anything but that, and that's what drew my sister in. So my sister and I, so we would stay up late. I was a 4th grade, 5th grade kid, and I'd be staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning on school nights to watch David Letterman. Our mother was furious with the both of us, but she just gave up. We insisted that we stay up to watch the show. And Michael Keaton was, like Terry Gar, one of those celebrities that we fell in love with via the Letterman show. So I guess my expectations were too high, and I went to see Mr. Mom, and I think, Josh, the attitude I had about halfway through the film was that he is so much better than this, and so I left.
Yeah, I don't know. I was in, I think, 5th grade when I saw it. I thought he was perfect. I enjoyed it. Ashley, you're right. There are some states you can take a picture of your ballot, and it looks like Minnesota might be one of them. Don't quote me on that. It's one article I'm looking at. I don't want anybody to go to jail or something like that.
Interesting.
So go ahead. I guess you could try it if you wanted to, and we'll find out quick.
Yeah, just give it a shot. See what happens.
The sticker's enough.
Friggin' selfies.
Do you take a selfie with your sticker?
I did the first time I voted when I was 8, because I voted when I was 18. That was super exciting for me, but not since, no.
Dana, would you take a selfie with 2 stickers, one over each nipple, and your shirt's off?
Is that a request?
Yeah, of course.
If you go check out my OnlyFans, I have a pricing page that can.
You have a menu?
You got a menu for custom photos. Yeah, so go ahead and go check that out.
I will.
It's like 90% off right now, Dana?
Yeah, onlyfans.com/Dana69.
You know what? I got a buddy who would need 3 stickers. He's got a third nipple,
really?
one right on the side. He could probably make more money than you on OnlyFans for that.
That bastard.
You got to have an extra nipple these days.
Did they hand out a sticker? Do they still do that?
Yeah, they did. They did, Josh. And I felt like I never for quite a stretch there. I wasn't much of a voter.
Oh, it's very recent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was it just the last election? The first time you voted in a long time?
Couple of them ago.
Was it a couple ago?
Yeah. For the longest time, I wasn't much of a voter. But now it does seem much more important.
Well, I want to make sure you get the right environmental commissioner in there or some of those.
Yeah, the water and soil.
I've never heard of that before. And why is this person running unopposed?
I saw a lot of that. I saw a lot of that unopposed stuff. But it was a good crowd in there. We had a good crowd. All right, Wednesday morning, by damn. Hope everyone's doing okay. Later on this morning, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder will stop by. Got plenty to talk about as far as sports go. Stay tuned for your shot at Ghost concert tickets. Because I'll tell you what, I love Satan.
Me too.
You do you?
Yep.
I love Satan. We'll be back in a few minutes here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our technicians are geared up and ready to make sure your system is running reliably this winter. Regular maintenance from Standard Heating and Air Conditioning helps prevent costlier breakdowns in the future, and we know they always happen at the worst time.
Hey, Ashley here. Get your home ready for winter. Schedule your furnace tune-up with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and save $30. Have a boiler? Save $40 on your boiler tune-up. Visit standardheating.com to book and lock in your savings. Stay cozy, stay ready.
The Jim Jackson Show isn't just another NBA podcast. Of course, I'll break down everything about the league that I played in for 14 years and now cover as a broadcaster. There will be plenty of interviews with the biggest players, personalities, and insiders in the NBA. I say there's more to life than ball. That's why on this podcast, I'm going to delve into other passions, maybe business and maybe travel. I love lifestyle. The Jim Jackson Show, wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside. I'm a real American today, Josh.
I know.
Bink, 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 bink.
Good for you. I'm glad you're voting now.
Thanks, Cubby. It means a lot coming from you because you also are a real American. A real American.
I try.
Someone texted in, a listener texted in and said, I'm 40 and I've never voted. And I said, I ain't mad at you. That makes a lot of people wet their pants around here. Well, what doesn't, right? What doesn't make some people wet their pants these days? But I told the guy, I said, you know, a lot of folks would come undone hearing about a 40-year-old who's never voted. I said, I ain't my business. I ain't mad at you. That's what I said.
What'd he say?
I don't know.
He didn't get back to you?
No.
What do you think he'll say?
I remember one night, Cubby, when I was 17 years old. 17. I got so damn drunk up at the old man's fishing shack that I had to go ahead and do something disgusting. I had to take a world-class squeege. But when I walked into the cabin, I realized I was too drunk to get to the bathroom, so I just hung it in the kitchen sink. That's the first time I had done that kind of a thing up to that point in my life. I didn't care who was looking. I just knew that was as far as I was going to get. because of how drunk I was, and the sink made a hell of a lot more sense than, say, a trash can or maybe peeing in somebody's boots setting up at the front door or something like that. So I hung it in the kitchen sink. As ridiculous and disgusting as all that sounds, I was just a dirty kid at a dirty old fishing shack surrounded by dirty old people. Unlike this here effing doctor who got canned recently for taking a whiz in a sink over there at the hospital.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they're supposed to be extra cleanly. That doesn't seem to fit.
That's what he did. He took a whiz in the hospital, in one of the sinks over there at the hospital where he works.
Those poor people that have to clean that up.
Well, I don't know if there's much of a cleanup.
Well, they probably got to,
in there
bleach it and do all that.
Oh, I don't know. I suppose, yeah, since it's a hospital.
Yeah, you got to clean all that. You're right, Ash.
I've urinated in many sinks since that story I told you, Ashley, about when I was 17. I've urinated in many sinks, and all I did was run a little water in there, and everything seems fine. But, okay, at a hospital, maybe a little different, if you're going to clean a wound in there or something. So this is a doctor, got fired. He took a piss in one of the sinks over there. This was in the stupid United Kingdom, if you have to know. Two of the guy's co-workers watched him squeege in the sink.
Oh, they ratted him out?
Well, I don't know if you're ratting him out in that particular situation.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the word I would use. The doctor goes by the name of Graham or something or another. I guess the doctor, he's a real smartass, too. Patients have complained about this guy. And I love this story. One patient who complained was a lady who said that Dr. Graham once recommended that she get a CT scan. And when she said, why? Dr. Graham said, to see if you have a brain.
That's a decent line. Yeah, I had something like that said to me once, and I laughed pretty hard at it. I was an old program director of ours, complete nutcase, absolutely insane person.
In radio, a nutcase?
Yeah, exactly.
This was a program director?
Program director. In his mind, I played the wrong cut of a song. I was running the board for an old co-worker of ours. She was at the state fair. And so my job, is to play the songs and get her up when she needs to be up and play the commercials, stuff like that. So that's what I was doing. And at the time, we played CDs. So there was, usually a couple different versions, and you'd play the one on the log, right? The music log.
Sure, there was a radio edit version and then the long version, that kind of a thing, Cubby?
Yeah, so there'd be different lengths or different mixes, whatever it was. And so I played the one he had scheduled. And it was shorter than he remembered it.
Yeah.
And so the woman on the air, she talked over it, right? She talked over the singing, and that's like a big no-no in radio.
Right.
And he came in and he starts yelling at me. And at the time, I had bleach blonde hair. And the big news there is I had hair at that point.
You did, and you'd like to turn it into different funny colors back then.
I did twice, yeah. And so he's like, "Hey, did that hair dye go to your brain?" And I thought, that's a pretty decent line, and it didn't. It didn't go to my brain. I didn't, rat him out.
Yeah, he's the one who effed up.
Yeah, I didn't say, "Hey, check the log there, douchebag."
That was my old man's favorite line to dump on us. Like, say, my brother and I, or my brother and I and our group of friends. That was his favorite line from the time we were 5 years old till we were 25 years old. His favorite line is once we would start acting up in the house or just raising hell or doing something silly, he would always say, "You some bitches could use a brain scan." So this Dr. Graham, he takes a whiz in the sink. He's dumping smart-ass comments on patients. What it sounds like to me, this Dr. Graham, he's a feller in his 70s. He's been a doctor for a long damn time, too effing long, and he just doesn't give a rat's ass anymore. Word is he never apologized for whizzing in the sink or for the smart-ass comment to that lady about her brain scan.
You always want a doctor that's mailing it in.
He's just all done, and he feels like stepping on some toes on his way out. And I can't say that I don't have an appreciation for the vibe he's putting out. We should all be so lucky to work steadily for as long as he has, and then get the opportunity to anger some folks on our way out the door. Doesn't that sound great, Josh?
I don't know if that's the guy I want to be, but I understand what you're saying.
I mean, just for the last couple of weeks, I fantasize about our last couple of weeks here. And God, what are the rest of you people going to do when Josh and I retire from radio? What are you going to do? Anyway, our last couple of weeks, you don't want to piss some people off? You don't want to start trouble?
Not really.
I do.
Maybe you could talk me into it.
I want to step up.
Do you have any targets?
Well, if the same crowd is here when we hang it up, absolutely I have some targets in mind. I want to piss everybody. I want people to go, good riddance to that son of a bitch. That's the legacy, if that's, I know that's a over-dramatic term, but that's the memory I want to leave.
I'm not too stubborn to suggest my mind can't be changed. I'll listen to opposing views, so perhaps you could talk me into it.
So I kind of like how this guy's closing out his doctoring career. Good for you, Dr. Graham. Or maybe it's pronounced Grant. Pop, sicka, boom, boom, pop, Grant. G. Because Grant is giant. R. He's a rough. A. He's absolutely...
I'd stop after that one.
We're going to wrap a little bit... We're going to wrap a little bit about our disgusting sexual desires here, if everyone's comfortable with that. We're going to talk a little bit about our disgusting sexual desires. So, try not to touch yourselves too much there on the job site or the office or wherever you're at. A survey that went around and round. And that survey was asking folks about their effing dirty sex lives. And the results of that survey ended up telling us this and that. Like, say this year, okay? We'll start with this. 95% of sexually active people, 95% of them admitted to being at least somewhat kinky. Okay, fair enough. More than half of us, see, this is a damn shame right here. More than half of us, though, are too embarrassed to share our dirty desires with our partner.
Oh, that's a shame.
It is, isn't it, Ashley? You just got to say it. Don't think about it. Just say it. Yeah. Just say, look, honey, put on those old ski boots and stand on my nuts for me. Whatever comes to mind. Just say it. Kinky folks say they're afraid if they really cut loose with their filthiest sexual desires, they're afraid that their partner is going to go ahead and tell everybody in town.
Sure, I can understand that fear.
And then when you walk into the neighborhood beer hall, someone's going to say, hey, freak show. What's the deal with you getting off on ski boots to the balls?
What's up there, Sawzall?
You know what I'm saying? So, you've heard this kind of thing before. A sexual survey said this, and a sexual survey said that. Here's the twist. 37% of folks said they'd like a, I'll get this right, I will. I just don't usually speak this language. 37% of folks said they'd like to sign a non-disclosure agreement before beginning a new relationship. So their disgusting, unspeakable, slutty, little kinky secrets stay behind closed doors.
I've joked about that with partners in the past, having an NDA where they can't make fun of my penis with their friends. And if the relationship ends, they have to say it's because my penis was too large.
Oh, yeah. I remember you mentioned. Did you ever get anyone to sign off on that?
No, never one. It was kind of like a laugh, like, of course, I would never talk trash about your penis. But there was trash talked.
What would you want in return if they do violate NDA?
Oh. What would I want in return? You mean like, so if you violate a normal one, you get sued for some money or something like that?
Yeah, how about just a cash prize, Josh? They owe you $1 million.
Yeah, good question, Wapple. I'll have to think on that.
Maybe they pay for your penis enhancement procedure?
Something like that.
He doesn't need a penis enhancement procedure.
Dana, that'd be counterproductive.
See, I signed the NDA. I did. I signed that non-disclosure. He doesn't have any problems with penis size.
By the way, the D in NDA stands for something different in this case. But yeah, I don't think that I'd want to say, listen, I don't have a small penis, which is evident by my appointment to get a penis enlargement surgery.
She has to pay for advertising billboards of Josh has a massive penis.
Now you're on to something.
Just a picture of Josh on a billboard and some lettering that says, hung some bitch, with an arrow point. So what do you think of the idea of sitting down with your new girlfriend? Sitting down with your new girlfriend and or boyfriend, and you sign some agreement that whatever kind of freaky urine-soaked activities we get involved in behind closed doors, neither one of us is allowed to say a word about it.
Well, so I've got a couple that might be considered kinks, and maybe in an early relationship I'd be embarrassed to bring up.
You, Cubby, has a couple of kinks?
I don't know how to describe it necessarily. It's not like nothing like you're talking about with ski boots and violence or anything like that. But I have a couple maybe I wouldn't want to bring up right away.
That's adorable.
So, but I don't. It's
violence,
nothing that
he says. I like that violence.
Well, you're talking mangled genitals.
I was.
But it's nothing where if it got out, I wouldn't.
What do you like your nipples played with or something?
No, nothing like.
Oh,
I'll write it down.
Oh, you're gonna write it down for me. Is it okay if I say it out loud?
Oh, I don't want you to say that.
Or you don't want? I won't.
I just got done saying I wouldn't be embarrassed. All right, maybe I would.
Okay, I won't say.
Yeah, I don't want that on the radio.
You know you can trust me.
Yeah, I know.
But what Josh has written down for me is, that certainly would be defined as a kink.
Yeah, it's not like, nothing that's going to get me arrested. It's not that uncommon.
It's not uncommon at all.
Okay.
You said you had a couple. You didn't write down the other one.
Well, it's all kind of related to that.
What did you?
It's related to that, like.
This other word, does that have something to do?
No, that's a reminder to talk about Mookie Betts.
Oh, okay.
It's a Mukaki.
Let me explain something to you. So,
His
Josh
kink is Mookie Betts.
Josh passes me a note, and he's written a word describing one of his kinks. And again, it's nothing shocking. You had originally mentioned you had a couple of kinks. So I'm looking for the other kink written here somewhere on this piece of paper. I flip it over.
It's related if you understand.
I flip it over and I simply see the word Mookie. But that's a reminder for you to talk about Mookie Betts of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Make sure we talk about that.
Okay. What happened, just on a side note, what happened in Mookie Betts?
Dude stealing.
Yeah, almost got his arm ripped off.
Yeah.
What?
The fan interference?
You didn't see that?
Well, no. I watched the game.
It's in the prep.
Yeah, it's on 93x.com, too.
Well, we can talk about it later. No, I mean, did this happen in the late innings?
I forgot what inning it was.
Okay, we'll get back to it. So,
yeah.
All right, back to kinks. Kinky kinks.
By the way, people are saying that this is true, and I will admit it. The Chris Lindahl billboards, that is referring to my penis.
There you go.
If you've seen one, you understand. Yeah, so when you look at that, just know that is my penis related.
I mean, personally, I think it's kind of silly that you would ever sit down and sign some paperwork before a relationship, before sexual activity. I don't know. I guess my kinks would have to be really, really out of this world outrageous for me to have someone sign a code of silence. It would have to be. And I got some things that I have been or am currently into that, I wouldn't be altogether comfortable having them repeated, but whatever. We're all grown people. I'll get over it after a second or two. Exactly. I really doubt that there's anything I'm involved in that could embarrass me anymore. Anyway, I'm 53 years old. Who gives a rat's ass? Maybe if I was 20 years old, I would be a little uncomfortable with some of these, but I don't care.
Angry Bus Driver Jesus recommends if they violate the NDA, they have to pay for a, quote, penis reduction surgery, but we know what the surgery will really be for.
Right. So there you go. You sign an agreement so your kinks stay behind closed doors. Now, remember, baby, before you handcuff me and force me to drink your toilet water, you got to sign here. Listen to this now. 5% of folks say that they have no kinks at all. Well, damn, what the hell do you do?
Yeah, that sucks.
Just straight up missionary every time? All right, some of the most popular kinks, according to this survey, some of the most popular kinks here in America were or are public sex, threesomes, cheating on your wife and then getting a divorce is a popular kink for a lot of men. More popular kinks: foot action, cuckolding, and strangling your boss unconscious at work and then stealing his car, which is strange to see fall into a survey on sexual kinks, but I'm not here to judge anybody.
I suppose it turns some folks.
If you get off on choking your boss unconscious and then stealing his or her car, that's your yum. I will not yuck your yum. I am not Ashley.
Well, if I could, and I'm sorry to be the yuck your yum guy, I recommend strongly against strangling your boss and stealing his car. That's a couple pretty serious offenses. Probably not a good idea to do one or both.
Hey, they signed it.
You probably can't get away with that one too often, you know?
Watch me. All right. We got through that, didn't we, Josh? We got through talking about all kinds of dirty, nasty sexual stuff.
That was fun. And I'm glad Ashley didn't say too much about hers. I was worried that some of those would come out.
I decided to be. I actually thought about you, Josh. I was like, I don't want to ruin his day.
I appreciate that.
I wanted pretty badly to mention your kink on air, Josh, but I would never, ever. Just what's the word I'm looking for? Blankety blank your trust. There's a word
Betray?
there. Betray your trust. I never would, but it's interesting. Your kink is interesting. All right, here's a dude who's bound to kill somebody one day if he doesn't dial it back a little bit in a place called Willington, Connecticut. A 33-year-old stupid ass was arrested for doing 118 miles per hour down the Bygod Highway. He was going 118 in a 65-mile-per-hour zone ski. A state trooper caught up to his ass, and when the trooper asked why the F he was going so damn fast, the dude said he was on his way to a place called Salem, Massachusetts for Halloween festivities.
I bet they do it big there.
Yep.
118 miles an hour. Who you going as for Halloween? Jordan Addison? The kid was charged with reckless driving. So again, look for this puke to kill a family on the highway soon enough. If he doesn't learn to dial it back a little bit, he'll kill somebody.
Yeah, Ashley, I could see you wanting to go to that.
Yeah, I want to so bad. Actually, my boyfriend's parents are in Salem, Massachusetts right now for Halloween, and I've never been more jealous in my life.
Oh, on purpose?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's not like unrelated. They went there for this.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
And your boyfriend's parents are so much cooler than your boyfriend, by the way.
I'm aware.
What are the some of the events that they line up in? Do you know the answer to this question? In Salem, Massachusetts, what's so interesting about their Halloween celebration?
I guess I don't really know everything they do, but I imagine it's very witchy.
I would assume so.
Yeah, they probably burn someone at the stake or keep it real in some spells.
Keeping it real. Speaking of getting killed dead, this here next setup, to me, these days, this strikes me as a good way for some trigger-happy jagoff to shoot a hole in your chest cavity. There's a video going, again, round and round, like it does. There's a video of some effing dude dressed up as Michael Myers from the Halloween movie series, and he's creeping up on cars in a traffic jam, waving around a knife, acting like he's going to cut somebody.
Yeah, you want to have fun, right? But right today, nowadays, it could be a dude looking to kill you.
Yeah. And none of us will be surprised if someone just started shooting at the prick. Now, one of the poor bastards stuck in the traffic jam recorded the Michael Myers character on his cellular telephone. It's funny, it is, but risky what the dude is doing. It's broad daylight, which helps. If this would have been happening in the middle of the night, this pretend Mike Myers dude would already be dead or in an intensive care unit at a hospital. Someone would have shot him.
This is up on 93x.com, too.
Check it out.
Boy, the real nightmare is that traffic jam. My God, why are they stopped there for so long?
Seriously.
I do like the fist bump he gave a few different drivers. That was pretty funny.
Was he dishing out fist bumps?
Yeah, seeing Michael Myers give a guy a fist bump.
So cool.
Overall, everybody had fun with the bit. Nobody shot the guy. One individual commented on Facebook. You know how they put the video up on the Facebook, and then every 8th grader and social media dork can give their comment. One individual commented by saying, "The world needs more of this kind of lighthearted fun right now. Thank you for sharing."
It's beautiful. Well said.
Me and Wobble were talking the other day that, like, Michael Myers is one of those, like, if you're out at a bar for a Halloween party and Michael Myers walks in, like, that freaks us out still. Like, there's something about just eerie.
I think the fact that he doesn't talk makes it... Go ahead.
There was a dude in Anoka this weekend, and he walked around with a sign that said "looking for," and then it had a picture of Jane Lynch, and then he just walked around with a JBL speaker and just kept playing the Halloween theme on loop. One time, I was facing the other way, so he would have been behind me. The music stopped, and then I turned around. He was just right there. It freaked the hell out of me.
What's the reference to Jane Lynch? Was she in one of those movies?
What's her nuts?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis?
Oh. Yeah.
Some people have been texting in, Josh, to go back to our sexual discussion from earlier on this morning. And Josh confided in me, at least, with a kink that he enjoys. And I know some of you are saying, Cubby is kinky? Well, again, it's nothing that's going to get him arrested, but yeah, I think it would, after reading the note he passed me, yeah, it would be defined as a kink. Some of our listeners are guessing what it is, Josh, if you don't mind some of them guessing. Eastbound at sundown, Jesus wants to know if your one and only kink is peeing in snow pants.
Well, that didn't turn me on, but I am experienced.
You did?
Yes.
You had that problem in grade school
Sixth grade.
At a ski, how do you call it, slope?
Yeah,
at
Aspen
a
Alps.
ski, what's the word?
At the chalet.
Yeah. All right. It's not peeing in snow pants.
No, that doesn't turn me on at all. That was actually quite embarrassing.
God, that must have been rough. I mean, you're a sixth grader
It's
already.
tough being me.
Sixth grade, and you just couldn't get the pants off in time? Or?
I used to hold it forever. For whatever reason, I just never wanted to go to the bathroom, so I'd sit there and hold it, and I was at a table full of girls. Luckily, everyone just thought it was snow melt, right, off my boots, because it just didn't come out the snow pants. You couldn't. It looked like just melting snow. Everybody had melting snow around their feet, but mine was pure urine.
Was this? You're sitting around a table full of girls. Now, was this one of the first signs of your crippling inability to leave a conversation?
Boy, I don't remember. Good question. I just used to wait until it was too late. For whatever reason.
You don't know why, that you hold your urine until it was just an absolute code yellow.
No matter what I had to do in the bathroom, I would hold it forever.
Your poor bladder.
It didn't help that your gloves were cuffed to your hand. That was tough to get off, too.
I'll show you something that's tough to get off. Finally, for you folks who like ghost stories, what's this say now? A dude down there in Alabama says his coffee shop is haunted by a dead Civil War soldier. No, it's not.
Be pretty cool if it was, though.
You know, this time of year, they always post so many articles on different haunted places. In New York, apparently, there's dozens of haunted bathrooms.
It's all nonsense. This dude says he has video to prove that his coffee shop is haunted by a dead Civil War soldier.
Yeah, you can see that on 93x.com.
Yeah,
but
don't click on it.
Yeah.
The dude, young guy and his wife run this coffee shop. They recently purchased the shop. He started to suspect that something paranormal was going on. And it just so happens that they just opened the coffee shop and they might be struggling a little bit financially. You see what I'm doing?
That's how they got people.
That's just. I'm just assuming. I'm just making assumptions. There was rustling noises. Oh God!
Oh, it was a bag.
You know what else he heard in the middle of the night, Josh?
What?
You know what else he heard? Footsteps.
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 Footsteps. Oh, footsteps. Sure.
Got it.
Okay. Right. He saw a shadowy figure looking at him through a window. Could have been the neighborhood masturbator. Every town has at least one.
At least.
St. Cloud has a dozen or so, but every town has a...
Could have been his own. I've been scared by mine before.
Did you look in the window once and think, my God, there's someone staring through the...
That actually did happen here. During the height of the pandemic, when nobody was here, we had to keep all the lights off, right? It's expensive to run this place, and radio makes no money. So we had to keep all the lights off. And there's all the doors here have glass on the sides. So I walked around a corner, and there was just enough light where I was like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. And it was my own reflection inside of that thing.
Man.
And I'm not jumpy. Dana is jumpy.
I'm very jumpy.
Yeah,
Especially around here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have never met someone more jumpy than Dana. And for your size, Dana, you could take someone out pretty good.
I could, but I've always been jumpy, and especially here because we don't have lights on really in the hallways, and it's kind of cavernous and dark and weird, and all of a sudden, unassuming, nice and polite Josh will be coming around the corner, and I'll be, oh, God!
And it's not like I'm walking at a really rapid pace or growling or anything scary.
Mm-hmm.
Growling.
You should do that now.
All right, back to this dude and his wife who claim that their coffee shop is haunted by a dead Civil War soldier. They say luckily nothing has presented itself as threatening. Well, I guess I'll have to ask the rest of the boys in my Civil War reenactment group about this.
I watched one of those once.
What did you watch?
One of the Civil War reenacting.
Oh, well, did you recognize me out there?
No, I didn't notice you at all.
Yeah.
You were in such character that I never would have been able to pick you out.
We have a lot of fun with that.
That's kind of fun.
Did you see the bit with Conan O'Brien acting?
Yes.
Oh, my God, that is so
That was
funny.
good.
Or the South Park episode where they keep getting drunk on s'more schnapps and keep taking it so seriously. It lasts for days. They actually think they're in a war.
Missed that one. You're a great crowd. Appreciate it very much. We got to take a break. Come back with some jock sniffing next.
Here's Wapple with your video game update. One PlayStation fan spent $2,000 on 24 years worth of PlayStation Plus subscriptions, all to avoid the increasing price hikes. The player's subscription will come to an end in 2048, but he doesn't care about that because he says he'll be playing video games the rest of his life, so it kind of makes sense. The PS Plus subscription is about $79.99 a year, and getting the subscription ahead of time guarantees the price remains the same.
Let's do this.
Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was released last Friday, and players are enjoying the story mode, multiplayer, and zombies. One of Call of Duty's most popular maps is even getting ready to make a return, Nuketown. The map will be released this Friday, November 1st, and it doesn't stop there. The most popular Black Ops map will also be getting a 24/7 playlist, so you can keep playing the map over and over and over and over again. The playlist will feature different game modes like Team Deathmatch, Kill Confirmed, Domination, Hardpoint, and Kill Order. Nuketown is often mentioned among other popular maps on Call of Duty like Rust, Shipment, Terminal, and Hijacked. Be sure to listen to 93X every single Wednesday for more video game updates.
Bye-bye. Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
And look out behind the pack, it's Gaudreau. In on a breakaway, scores. Freddie Gaudreau has the last 2 goals for Minnesota.
He did, huh? He had the last 2 goals for Minnesota.
Yeah. And I think he had entered the game with nothing on the season, and he decided, I'm going to break this bitch open. Oh, sorry for that language.
Well, look at you. John,
I'm going to break this
today.
open.
It's about friggin' time that Fred Gaudreau guy pulled his hat out of his ass. The man Bear Pigs won a game last night in Pittsburgh over the Pittsburgh Penguins. It was Marc-Andre Fleury's farewell game back in the city where he won a few cups and he got the win. That's a very special thing. They had a video how do you say that?
Video tribute.
Video tribute up on the board. Everybody crying up and down.
So the Penguins with another good start in the sense of building a 2-goal lead. But it's that man and his team that's going to come out of here with the win, and the fans recognize him accordingly. Final 12.7 seconds of him on a Pittsburgh sheet of ice. We'll let them take you down.
Must have been a hell of a line in the bathroom. The crowd yelling, "Hurry!" They're chanting it over and over again.
No, flurry.
Somebody must have had a. Next up, the fellas play here back at home for the first time in a long time. Friday night against Tampa Bay. We'll get into this hockey game here in about a half hour when Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder stop by. We'll also get into the Timberwolves matchup last night with the Dallas Mavericks. The Wolves were not good enough. They just weren't. The Dallas Mavericks are very good and maddening. I hate the Dallas Mavericks. I hate everything about them. You got to be better if you want to beat that friggin' team. And the Wolves couldn't quite. World Series is going to continue on. New York Yankees got a win last night. All of this we can get into later. Josh, listeners are still texting in, trying to guess your favorite kink. You passed me a note earlier.
Any close guesses?
Well, I'll have to read this to you and you tell me. Earlier you passed me a note. You don't want this to be made public, but you do have a kink in the
sack. So that would be considered a kink.
Yeah, like I said,
it's loosely a kink.
It is.
It's very common.
It is. It's quite common.
But I wouldn't bring it up with a new partner right away.
It's very common, but it is kinky. After reading the note that you passed me, absolutely.
And it seems like something you'd have to request, not surprise someone with.
Oh no.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. You can just go ahead with it.
I want permission.
Because it's become so common.
It has become common.
It wasn't common 25, 30, 35. It wasn't.
No, it'd be confusing
now,
probably.
And some of you are thinking, anal? It's not anal.
No, it's not. Not interested.
But listeners are texting in to, what's the phone number here again? 651-989-9393. They're guessing your kink. Is this it, Josh? Is your kink showing up at Menards on Saturday morning 5 minutes before they open to get in early?
Swing!
You ever been that guy? You love wandering around the, don't tell me, the joint is called Fleet Farm.
Love it.
You love wandering around Menards.
Yep.
You ever been that dork that's standing outside looking through the glass for the employee to unlock the door so you can go and get some screwdrivers?
No, but I have been the guy sitting in his truck waiting for someone else to be the first to go in, and then I'll go. Now, Chipotle, different story.
I've been waiting outside of Chipotle before.
And I feel like they're looking at me like, oh, God, can you just come back later? But I've definitely done that at Chipotle.
So, but also at your favorite man mall type of a joint, you've waited for some other schmuck to walk in first so you're not the dork.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Coming up next to Josh's News Report.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act. They're a nuisance.
93X.
Our technicians are geared up and ready to make sure your system is running reliably this winter. Regular maintenance from Standard Heating and Air Conditioning helps prevent costlier breakdowns in the future, and we know they always happen at the worst time.
Hey, Ashley here. Get your home ready for winter. Schedule your furnace tune-up with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and save $30. Have a boiler? Save $40 on your boiler tune-up. Visit standardheating.com to book and lock in your savings. Stay cozy, stay ready.
Every week, Michael Rosenbaum is getting deep with someone new on the Inside of You podcast. Actor James Marsters.
Are you somewhat content? Do you still stress a lot?
If anything, I feel guilty that I have it so good. If you make the decision to be an actor, the deal is poverty. I don't understand. How did I get here? You know? And the answer, how did I get here, is really one audition one day for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, wherever you listen.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
Would you like to have a roll in the hay? It's fun. Roll in the hay.
Gene told me about this Terry Gar person, and we had some film on Terry, and I said, she's absolutely beautiful. Could she act? And Gene said, who gives a shit?
Terry Gar, the Oscar-nominated comedic actor, best known for her spirited performances in classics like Young Frankenstein, so good, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and Tootsie, died yesterday, sadly, from complications of multiple sclerosis at the age of 79. Over a screen career spanning more than 40 years, Gar endeared herself to audiences with her quirky comedic timing and quick wit. She was a familiar face on sitcoms and late-night talk shows, hosting Saturday Night Live 3 times and frequently appearing on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson and Late Night with David Letterman.
Something with you and Elvis. Wasn't there something with you and Elvis?
No.
Oh, come on, there was.
No.
Yes, there was.
Dave, no.
Yes, there was.
You and me, baby.
Oh.
Everyone asked me, what went on between you and Dave? I said, totally sexual. That's all.
That's all it was.
Big time.
That's right.
Trained as a ballet performer, Gar launched her Hollywood career as an uncredited go-go dancer in several Elvis Presley musicals. By the early 1970s, she collaborated with leading filmmakers of the decade, like Mel Brooks. In 1974, she played Gene Wilder's German assistant, Inga, in Mel Brooks's Young Frankenstein.
I resolve, therefore, to make the creature of a gigantic stature.
In other words, his veins, his feet, his hands, his organs would all have to be increased in size.
Exactly.
He would have an enormous Schwanzstücke.
That goes without saying.
Oof.
He's going to be very popular.
Woof. Gar's profile rose further after Steven Spielberg cast her as Richard Dreyfuss's wife in the sci-fi classic Close Encounters, where her character watches in bewilderment as her husband becomes increasingly fixated on UFOs. And Tootsie earned her an Oscar nomination for her supporting actress role as a neurotic student who has a heart broken by Dustin Hoffman's character, a struggling artist who disguises himself as a woman to land a soap opera role.
I thought pretend it was something else. We're going to lose everything we have.
I never said, I love you, I don't care about I love you. I read The Second Sex. I read The Cinderella Complex. I'm responsible for my own orgasm. I don't care.
I loved her so much.
Oh, she was great and will be missed. Terry Gar was 79.
My dad was so defeated yesterday. He absolutely loves her. That's how I got into, like, Young Frankenstein and all those Mel Brooks movies.
Yeah, I decided yesterday that I want to show my youngest some of these movies. Yeah, Terry, Dana and I were talking about, like, Young Frankenstein and what it did to you as a young man. It was very confusing, comedic, and sexy. A 93-year-old Florida man was accused of attempting to murder his wife twice this month. The elderly husband, who's not so great at murdering, had been married to his wife for 60 years.
Holy balls.
First, he tried to smother her with a pillow, claiming he didn't want her to be left alone after he passed. Then 2 weeks later, how nice, right? Then 2 weeks later, he reportedly tried again, getting up from his chair, going behind her, and attempting to strangle her with a rope.
We're all headed in that direction, all of us married people. Eventually, we're just going to want to kill the other.
Yeah. Thankfully, weak as hell from being nearly 100, she managed to escape his elderly grasp and call 911 from a safer spot. Here, a cop explains it.
So the victim described about 2 weeks prior attempted to strangle her using a pillow, and then he also admitted that whenever that didn't work, he said that he knew the pillow didn't work, so he got an idea to use a rope.
I'm giving you the beating of a life. When questioned by deputies, he admitted to the plan, explaining he didn't want his wife to have to be left alone when he died.
What a romantic guy.
That's just very thoughtful.
Perhaps a little arrogant, you know.
How old of a man was he?
93.
And now he's off to jail, I suppose?
Yeah, he's going to get a life sentence, which means a matter of weeks.
Right.
I bet that grip strength probably wasn't too good on the rope, you know?
No, all of it. It more kind of tickled and was comedic than anything, thankfully. A 42-year-old Texas woman faces charges related to an incident involving her husband over the weekend, claiming a gun went off accidentally when he drunkenly bumped into her as she was helping him into the house. Saturday around 11 p.m. in Houston, the woman's children heard 2 gunshots and saw her holding a firearm near her husband, who police found in the driveway. After her hearing, her attorney said she was helping him as he was drunkenly trying to stumble from the car to the home, and the gun accidentally discharged twice as he bumped up against her.
Initially, she claimed self-defense. Then later, when questioned by law enforcement, she gave a different story, attempting to claim that it was an accident.
The sheriff's office stated her account of the husband's injuries did not align with the physical evidence at the scene. She has no criminal history and was set to begin training as a paralegal, her lawyer said. That's all over now. She's set to appear in court in a couple months.
So she also tried to kill her husband?
Yes, she did. And unfortunately, she was successful.
Oh, no.
When a 24-year-old au pair from Brazil moved to Virginia, her life apparently focused on 2 things, and taking care of kids wasn't one of them. Instead, the Brazilian beauty centered on a romantic affair and murder. The au pair, who fell in love with an IRS agent, pleaded guilty to manslaughter yesterday in what prosecutors say was an elaborate double murder scheme to frame another man in the stabbing of his wife. Prosecutors say the two began an affair. Soon after, the husband expressed a desire to, quote, be rid of his wife. Over the next few months, he devised a plan through the au pair, reportedly having doubts, though, uncertain that he'd actually go through with it. Before the double murder, the husband created a profile on a fetish website where he connected with a stranger. According to prosecutors, he had the au pair pretend to be his wife in a phone call, setting up a meeting at the house, and confirmed that restraints would be involved in their sex play. When the stranger arrived, the husband allegedly shot him and attacked his wife with a knife. Prosecutors say the au pair shot the stranger before calling 911 as well, pretending the stranger had broken into the home, which was their plan all along. For months after the killings, it might have seemed as if the au pair and IRS agent got away with the murder, but detectives weren't buying it.
Today's agreement marks a significant step forward in this case, and it is an important development in our pursuit of justice for the victims and their families.
The au pair now faces up to 10 years in prison, while the husband could receive a life sentence.
Is everyone currently in the process of killing their significant other?
Yeah. It seems that way.
It's making me a little nervous here.
They're getting towards the end of the year. You want to make some changes come January.
Oh, good point.
Many parents and teens argue about cell phone use, but thankfully those spats don't usually end in a round of toss the acid. Unfortunately for two North Carolina teens, however, that's exactly what happened, and they bore the burning brunt of the maniac mom's cell phone rage. The 35-year-old mother's in jail after throwing a corrosive substance on her teenage son and a 14-year-old girl.
God, no.
This was following an argument about a phone. The incident took place October 20th at an apartment complex. According to the boy's uncle, approximately 40 people gathered near the apartment, with some reportedly throwing objects through windows and engaging in fistfights. When the uncle intervened, he found his nephew with burns across his chest. The uncle thinks the liquid may have been hot water mixed with bleach.
Well, calls it positive that someone has assaulted his nephew by throwing something on him, and now he's burning.
He escalated into something I never imagined, he said. We need to resolve issues before they spiral out of control. This is my family, and I don't want anyone hurt, period, said the uncle. Both teens were treated at a hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. The mother, who had been working as an officer at a correctional institution, resigned after her arrest last Thursday. She'll be back in court in early December.
There was some kind of street fight out front the house, and mom was involved and threw acid on one of her children?
It sounds like the street fight might have started after that. People were like, hey, you can't throw acid at your kid. It was a fight over a cell phone.
Man, what a neighborhood.
Most of the street fights I've been in have started over acid being thrown on somebody.
Or taking acid. Makes you make bad decisions. From what I hear.
Too, yeah.
A machete-wielding Texas troublemaker tried to set two of his neighbors' homes on fire in a frantic, caught-on-camera arson spree. The 46-year-old, who dresses just like Dana.
I did a double take. I'm like, was I in Austin recently?
Yeah.
So like an 11-year-old.
In head-to-toe Bills blue. He kicked off his fiery rampage a week ago today, grabbing a red gas can, walking across the street, and dousing the side of his neighbor's house in broad daylight, all while brandishing a giant machete. The homeowners quickly put out the blaze, which scorched part of the lawn and the home's brick exterior. It would have been a lot worse if we hadn't stopped it, one of the victims said. Shortly after, the Dana doppelganger wandered a few houses down and repeated his pyromaniac impulses. You set my house on fire, a woman called to him in a surveillance recording. I got my kids in the house. He didn't seem to respond. Instead, he just walked across the lawn, dumped the fuel on the side of the home, and lit it up. The dorky dresser then moved to the front of the driveway, no offense, Dana, looked around and started swinging his machete in the air. He later threatened the second victim, waving the blade as she tried to put it out with a hose.
You know, I caught him doing it on film. I come out, I confront him about it. He admitted, and then after he think that my house is going to burn down, I was able to contain the fire. He tried to come back, with a sword to attack me.
Cops say he also threatened a responding deputy. The machete was no match for the officer's taser, which shocked the fight right out of the fella, so cops could take him into custody.
What's bothering this guy?
It sounds like he had some issues, certainly, and he took it out on these folks. There was no dispute prior, just kind of picked a couple homes and went for it. When you're a college student telling a story about getting screwed by someone on campus, hopefully it's more figurative and maybe a bit more steamy than literal and terrifying like this story. A student at Anoka Technical College had a rough day after reportedly being stabbed with a screwdriver.
Ouch.
Police arrived on scene just after noon yesterday to find the student with an injured hand. Thankfully, he was quickly taken to a nearby hospital where his new angina is now on the mend. The suspect, a 25-year-old man, is now in custody while the investigation continues. While Anoka Tech dealt with the screwdriver situation, a water main break at an elementary school threw a wrench into the school day. Students and staff at Meadowbrook Elementary School in Hopkins got an unexpected day off yesterday due to a water main break in the area. The district said it expected an update about the break about noon yesterday to determine whether the school would be canceled for today as well. Early yesterday afternoon, the district posted on Facebook, "Great news, the water main break repairs moving along as expected. School will resume Wednesday. We can't wait to see you." Of course, students and staff may not share the district's enthusiasm for this, quote, great news, especially after savoring their unexpected day off.
Yeah, that's bad news for everybody all the way around.
Yep.
Yeah. Outside of maybe parents. But yeah, I think everybody else is like, what do you mean great news?
It's kind of like when our studio started on fire and our damn engineer's so good, he got it back up and running the next morning.
It didn't take him even that long.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 2 hours later. You guys come do a show right now if you want.
A 107-year-old woman from China
Oh, my God.
stunned social media users by showing off how horny she is.
No, she didn't.
Posting a picture of a huge horn growing out of her forehead.
Oh, thank God.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
It's up on 93x.com, too.
A centenarian who's become an unexpected star on TikTok posted a video flaunting the distinctive 4-inch devil horn. Many viewers believe the bizarre protrusion is the secret behind her long life, dubbing it the longevity horn, though doctors identified the growth as a cutaneous horn, often linked to prolonged sun exposure.
Yeah.
While generally benign, experts suggest monitoring such growths due to a slight cancer risk. They want to make sure they keep an eye on it, and it's tough to miss. She's not the only senior to grab attention for a cutaneous head horn. In 2019, you may remember a 74-year-old man in India who had a similar 4-inch horn removed from his skull by surgeons. According to medical professionals, cutaneous horns are quite rare, but can appear on the face, ears, hands, toes, and in extremely unusual cases, the penis.
Oh, whoa.
I don't know if I could hug Grandma on the holidays if she had a big, ugly, hairy horn cruising out of her skull.
It's
Would
definitely...
you kiss it, Josh? It's your grandma. Would you kiss it?
No.
Kiss the horn.
I don't think I would kiss the horn.
Kiss it.
Yeah,
I'm your grandmother.
I would definitely give her a side hug. I wouldn't want to see what's coming at me.
I got to see that picture. You said it's up on our, what do you call that website?
Yes.
93x.com. Gavin Rossdale from Bush, who's headlining our 93X Nutcracker with Bad Flower December 14th, is 59. Tickets for that are on sale on 93x.com, by the way. Henry Winkler, Fonzie, on Happy Days is 79.
Oh, God, this horn coming out of this lady's forehead is terrible.
It's tough to look at.
I know.
I can't look at it.
I know.
It's not easy to witness.
Lick it, Cubby.
I will not lick it.
Lick your grandmother's horn.
I will give it a peck. That's it. Just
Really?
a
You
tiny,
really?
soft kiss. Just a real quick one. That's all I'm going to do.
She got you a car for Christmas. You got to kiss it.
Yeah, I'll kiss it.
I can't
I'm
believe
not going
this.
to like it, but I will. Thanks for the Kia.
And she's 107 years old.
107. Victory Motorcycle Jesus text in a shout-out to the Sheezus to his Jesus on their 4th anniversary today. Best of luck to HVAC Airport Jesus, headed to Mayo to get some tests done. On the Luther Bloomington Kia text line right now, text HAMMER, HAMMER, HAMMER to 651-989-9393 for a chance to win tickets to Ghost. It's a Saturday night, August 2nd at the X.
Got me excited. I thought we were giving away MC Hammer tickets.
No, Hammer's just the text word. If you miss out on free tickets this time around, no problem. We'll have plenty more opportunities between now and showtime, and the 93X presale starts today. That'll be at noon on 93x.com. I'm sorry to throw another keyword at you, but this is for the presale on 93x.com. That is 93X Radio, one word, for that presale. Regular guy tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m., and that's 93X News. Randy Shaver.
You're a creep. What are you doing? What happened to you?
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Right by Torres. Betts in the corner. Does he have room? Fights with the fan. And they're going to say that it's an out and fan interference. And yeah, Betts has that ball in his glove, and this fan literally tries to take his glove off. New York kid, bases loaded, 2 out. Breaks the ball, deep left field. Volpe with redemption. It's a grand slam.
Perfect place, perfect time, just what they needed.
I'll be damned. It's Wednesday. It's Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder. It's early in the morning. What's up, fools?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you feeling, Randy Shaver? Yesterday you said you might be coming down with something.
Yeah, I'm still still battling.
Oh, no.
Your microphone sounds stronger than normal, though.
It's a phone.
The phone. Oh, okay.
It's a telephone. Telephone.
Have you been taking all your daily medications, Randy?
Well, it's part of the routine, so the answer to that is yes. But I don't know. I don't know if I got it from the grandkids. I have no idea. So just going to try to make my way through it.
And Halloween is tomorrow. How are you supposed to celebrate Halloween if you're not feeling 100%?
Yeah, I'll be okay. I'll figure it out.
He's a gamer.
You sound so bummed out.
Yeah, you kind of do.
You sound so down.
Well, not it's. I hate being sick, number one. Yeah. Number two, the weather was so beautiful yesterday, and I didn't really get a chance to enjoy it because I know starting today it's going to turn crappy.
Yeah.
So just a lot of different things, but it's all right. I'll survive.
Brad, do you feel great?
Yeah, I feel great.
Brad feels great.
I'm actually amazed that I stay as healthy as I do, being in contact with as many students as I'm in contact with every day. But I don't get sick a lot, knock on wood. So.
Well, you're just a tough guy is what you are, Brad Ryder.
It's that farm upbringing.
This is in our intro there. I never had time at all this morning to watch the Mookie Betts video until just now. Last night's World Series. By the way, the conspiracy theorists who texted into our show yesterday were right. The World Series is going to go 7. But this is the first I'm seeing the Mookie Betts video where he's hand fighting with a Yankee fan over a foul ball.
It's absolutely insane.
That's funny.
This is a very non-controversial take, but that fan should never be allowed in a baseball stadium again.
Well, they said he's going to get back. He can go back tomorrow.
What?
Or tonight, yeah, he's allowed back.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
That's shocking. That was crazy what he did.
How is he allowed back?
ESPN ran into him and interviewed him. He said, yeah, he was thrown from the game, but the Yankees told him he's welcome back tomorrow. He's a season ticket holder, and
I would think Major League Baseball is going to intervene at some point there and reverse that. They have to.
Yeah, you can't try and take the glove off the hand of a baseball player like that. You just can't do that.
It was like something at WWE.
I know. There's like 3 dudes in there.
I mean, what was he thinking?
That is hilarious. This is one I've never seen this before, ever. That is friggin' hilarious. First I've seen it.
And then the other guy comes in and tries to,
they're shouting at Mookie Betts.
The second guy comes in and pulls the other arm up, almost to try to get him into the crowd. I mean, it was just weird.
Right.
And then the guy to the other side's got one of those sliding gloves on for some reason.
He has one of those oven mitt type sliding gloves.
Yeah, someone in the crowd. I was like, why does that do that?
I suppose if they didn't want to bring their glove with, then they could catch the ball with the oven mitt and not hurt their hand.
Are you sure he's not just wearing mittens? It was kind of cold last night.
No, there was only one glove on his hand, and it was definitely a sliding glove.
Well, maybe okay. Well, all of this is very strange, but yet hilarious. That's great. I've never seen that before. And it's typical of Yankee fans to be arguing with the ball player about, whose baseball that belonged to. That's funny. So, all right. Some of you think he should be banned for life. Others don't worry so much about it.
Well, I would say he's banned for the rest of the World Series.
I'd ban him for next year, too. I'd give him a year.
What?
I'd ban him for a year.
Okay, I don't know. I guess
you can't do that.
Well, he had a choice. They purposely grabbed Mookie Betts. It wasn't like they were protecting themselves or he was falling into him or anything like that. That was on purpose.
They're lucky they didn't injure his wrist.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, can you imagine that?
Serious? I'm being serious.
No, it is outrageous what the fan did. I mean, he's pulling with all his might on Mookie Gloves' Mookie Betts' glove and pulling at his arm. It is outrageous. I'm not the guy that can sit here and say he deserves this much of a suspension or that much of a. But what he did was certainly bizarre and outrageous.
One funny thing I did see on social media is one Yankee fan said, "Oh, this is unacceptable. This is going to give Yankee fans a bad reputation." Oh,
no, for God's sake, really?
That's a lot of fun right there. Yeah, it's going to go 7.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Don't think so.
I think the Yankees might win tonight, but I think when they get back to L.A., I think that L.A. will win Game 6.
They held off elimination last night. The final from Yankee Stadium was 11-4, and that forces that Game 5 tonight. Freddie Freeman hit another first-inning dong. But then that Volpe kid, you heard the audio, cut loose with a grand slam in the 3rd inning. Austin Wells, Gleyber Torres also got the dongs out for the home crowd. The Yankees broke the game open. Yes, Randy.
Did I hear this right, that there's never been, when a team's gone up 3-0 in the World Series, that there's never been a Game 6?
No.
The other team has never played their way back?
I believe that's right. I think I saw the same thing you did, that most of them end in a sweep and then the rest of them end in Game 5.
Yep.
I've never heard of that. I guess that surprises me a lot, that the series has never gone to a Game 6 when a team is up 3-0. But
I believe
crazy.
That is an accurate statistic, Randy Shaver. It's never gone 6. Well,
wow.
We'll see what happens. Freddie Freeman became the first player ever to hit a home run in the first 4 games of a World Series. And, of course, like we mentioned yesterday, if you go back to last year's World Series, what does that make, 6 games in a row? But he's doing historic things. Game 5 tonight, the Yankees are going with their supposed ace, Garrett Cole. The Dodgers are going to go ahead with that Jack Flaherty on the hill, which is a rematch of Game 1. You heard the announcers mention it up and down yesterday. It is kind of strange that the 2 biggest guns on either side of the ball field, Ohtani on one side, Judge on the other, really haven't factored in much at the plate just yet. How many walks have the 2 of them garnered at this point?
Don't know.
I don't know. I did see Ohtani walk once last night, so.
Well, I'm hoping if anyone's going to bust loose, it would be Ohtani and not Judge. I want to see the Yankees put out of their misery.
You can tell Ohtani's playing hurt, though.
He doesn't look comfortable.
No.
Oh, yeah, not at all.
How he's grabbing his jersey the whole time.
I'll grab your friggin' jersey. He doesn't look comfortable out there at all. Okay, the Timberwolves and the Dallas Mavericks played their big Western Conference final rematch last night here in town at Target Center, and the Wolves just weren't good enough. You're not going to beat a club as good as the Mavericks when you turn the ball over 20 damn times. Yeah. Dallas got the win, 120 points to 114.
Even despite the incredible first quarter by Edwards, where he was amazing in the first quarter, but
I'd be A1 from day one.
It's so typical that it's not how you start, it's how you finish in the NBA, and it just took Dallas a little bit of time to figure some things out, and, Kyrie Irving was tremendous from beyond the arc, and then Doncic, who did not play particularly well, did some really nice things late in the game, and you're right, it was a tough loss. You can't play sloppy like that and expect to win. I don't even care if it's the Mavericks. It's any team. You just can't play that type of basketball and expect to win the game, even when you have a guy like Edwards have the night that he had.
Yeah, a different way to look at that. They had 20 turnovers, and the Mavericks only had 9. So you're giving the other team right off the bat. You're giving them 11 extra possessions. You can't do that. Like to your point, Randy, you can't do that with any team in the NBA and expect to win, because if you're giving somebody 11 more possessions than you, if you want to do the analytics on that, it's probably another 20 points that you got to make up during the course of a game. You just can't do that.
Was anyone else
down to 7? Luka's way out in center court. Nickeil Alexander-Walker on him from near the logo. Luka magic, that's what it is.
Get down, sending these guys home. We're seeing fans leaving the arena right now. That's what he does.
Kiss my ass. Was anyone else ready to vomit by the end of that ball game?
Luka magic.
Oh, Luka Doncic. I want to strangle him out. I have to get my hands around his throat at one point or another. I was ready to puke. God, I hate the Dallas Mavericks. You're right about Edwards, though. He went crazy in the first quarter. Some folks might have been thinking, damn, he's going to score 70, but he cools off. He still finished with 37, but he also went 6 for 12 from the free throw line, which is just bizarre.
Yeah.
It was just awful. Yeah. Rudy Gobert had better luck at the free throw line last night than Anthony Edwards did.
You have to give Rudy Gobert a ton of credit. From whatever he's done in the last 2 years to improve at the free throw line is amazing. Yeah. I mean, the guy is reliable at the line. He's a 65% free throw shooter now, where he was probably a 40% free throw shooter before.
Yeah, it was brutal. It was like watching a 2-year-old a few years ago.
Right.
Rudy would go to. He has improved greatly, no doubt about it. Oh, God. If there's another playoff series this year between the Timberwolves and the Dallas Mavericks, I don't think my doctor will allow me to watch it. I think it possibly could be my death knell, Cubby. Julius Randle had a strong game, but like I said, you have to take care of the basketball, like Randy Shaver said. Right. The Wolves always seem to have this problem. They get a little ahead of themselves. They start tossing balls out of bounds like Danny DeVito in friggin' One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. They make careless passes. The 20 turnovers the Wolves committed led to 25 points for Dallas. And how about some damn transition defense, for Christ's sake?
Yep, they got beat badly.
Oh, my God. Can we not just chase your guy? You just chase him down the floor. It's all you got to do. Dallas must have scored 6-8 points because the Wolves have their thumbs in their asses instead of playing transition defense, and someone for the Mavericks is under the basket waiting for a pass. Oh, yeah, I'll just lay this in. Play some defense. Next up, they host the Denver Nuggets on Friday, and the Nuggets are always very good.
Those are the kind of things that sometimes you see during the dog days of winter where teams just kind of don't give it the full effort in getting back. But not early in the season. Not when everybody's healthy. Not when everybody's, feeling good physically. That's just mentally not playing.
It's a matter of you're not paying attention.
Yeah, that's too bad.
You're not paying attention.
Because that's one of the things they did very well last year. I mean, after a slow start defensively, they got better as the year went along and played great defense. And we all talked about that all last season as they made their way through the playoffs, and just how great defensively, how great they played. But so far this year, that has been one of the issues for sure, is how they're handling things on the defensive end.
I'll give them a little bit of a pass on the turnovers on the offensive end for a while, because it's going to take them a while to figure out how to play with this kind of new group a little bit. Give them 15, 20 games and let's see where they're at.
Yeah, but the new group, but the new group is only one guy. It's everybody else.
Even Senjo too, and Towns was a big part. I mean, as much as we like to rail on the warts of his game, he was a big part of that offense for many years.
I think that's fair, Brad Ryder. I think that's fair.
The defense. No, there's no excuse for not getting back. I'm not defending that, but some of the offensive stuff, I'll give him a little bit of time on that.
Randall and DiVincenzo have been a little sloppy dribbling the basketball so far. I think that's a fair statement. Okay, I apologize again for not being totally prepared for this story from last night's World Series. I got to go back to this. We got to go back to this goofball Yankee fan who's fighting Mookie Betts for a foul ball. Did anyone mention this comment? Well, Dana, you mentioned that someone caught up with the Yankee fan and interviewed him after the game.
Yep.
Did we mention this quote?
No, we didn't talk about it yet.
Okay. And again, I didn't have time to get to this morning, so I'm just catching up with this hilarious play from last night's baseball game. The fan said, when he was interviewed, "We're going to D up," he said, "if a ball comes into our area."
What?
It's a territorial thing.
I hate this guy.
He said, "We always joke about it. We're not going to go out of our way to attack, but if the baseball's in our area, we're going to D up."
Well, you did go out of your way to attack, so...
Yeah, he definitely needs to be banned for a little bit, if that's the case. If that's his attitude, especially. Ugh.
Yeah,
that is hilarious.
That guy should not be back.
Knowing the Yankees, they may have him throw out a first pitch tonight, though.
I would love it. They just leaned into the heel aspect of this.
Do you think Steve Bartman is somewhere going, what the hell?
Yeah, right.
Dude, yeah. I didn't
He's in some spider hole somewhere, hiding.
Steve Bartman's been saying what the hell to the entire world since the year 2003 or whatever it was. Yeah, oh, God. Don't even get me started on that friggin' disaster.
But hey, they won the World Series and they forgave him like 15 years later.
Dana, don't do it.
I'm poking the bear right
I will
now.
absolutely go nuclear. All right.
I'm excited because I don't know about this.
You don't know about what?
Steve Bartman.
Ashley?
Are you serious?
Wow.
Ashley?
Oh, my gosh.
Ask me about it off air.
Okay.
It's not going to be the same now as it was.
Take the next 5 to 10 minutes and Google it and read about it.
I'll have a heart attack if I try to do that on the air again. Talk about Chicago and Steve Bartman. Oh, Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder. You dirty, filthy bastards. What else do we have here for you? Who amongst us has been dialed in to the program called The Starting 5 Basketball Players?
Haven't started it yet, but I plan to.
I watched a couple episodes.
I'm kind of burned out on those behind-the-scenes things because I feel like a lot of it is very performance right now. You know, they know they're being followed. They know they're going to be on Netflix. So they're kind of putting on a show. It's not quite as authentic as it kind of used to be.
I'm not into it as much either. I started, for no real reason, we had to turn it off. We had something else going on. But I started the first episode.
Okay.
I'll watch it.
This is on Netflix. It's called The Starting 5 Basketball Players, and it's a cast of NBA players, and like you said, they follow them here, they follow them there. The recent edition features our own Anthony Edwards and that Sabonis kid from Sacramento and a few others. I don't remember. I've never watched the show. Do you want to know who will be the starting 5 basketball players for Season 2?
Sure.
You do?
Yeah.
Or would you rather me talk about Chicago versus Steve Bartman?
Please give us the Netflix rundown.
Here are the next group of players. Boston Celtics guard, I think he is, Jaylen Brown. The Durantula will be featured, okay? So expect a lot of social media arguments.
Yeah, I was going to say, is just going to be footage of him sitting in a room alone arguing with people on Twitter.
Trying to remember which burner account he's using.
Next up, Randy would like to spoon with this young man, Oklahoma City's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yes.
Admit that you would spoon him if he gave you the opportunity.
I admit it.
Yeah. From the Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halla, by God, Burton.
Yeah, Iowa State.
And here's where, even if I was considering watching the next season of the starting 5 basketball players from the NBA, even if I was interested, this would kill it for me. The 5th player featured will be James Harden.
Yeah, I'd pass that part. Fast forward, right?
Well, the only thing I'll say about James Harden is that
he wouldn't make a team 20 years ago because they called traveling back then. That's what I would say about James Harden.
That too.
Yeah.
But you don't really hear him talk a lot. You know, he's not the kind of guy that you see do a lot of interviews or do a lot of post-game stuff. I guess, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I kind of find it fascinating to listen to him because I don't hear from him very often.
Oh, well, now that you mention it, Randy Shaver, yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen an interview with the guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's the only thing that's intriguing to me is I don't really hear from him, the guy, enough to really get a feel for what he's like when he's talking, you know, what he's thinking.
It's kind of like Karen Rogers. Karen Rogers, very, very quiet guy. I don't ever hear.
Yeah.
I don't know what he sounds like. I don't know what his what's on his mind. I don't know what his likes.
Kind of the inside skinny on the guy is that he's very moody.
Who's moody?
James Harden.
Is he?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's
so. It might be interesting from that regard because then you get a different perspective of him.
That'll be the next group of fools on that television program. The Man Bear Pigs were playing in Pittsburgh last night. Let me tell you about this. It was Marc-Andre Fleury's farewell game back in the city where he won 2-3 Stanley Cups. He got the win last night. Hell, the Pigs went down 2-0, and then they scored
got off to a slow start.
Then they scored 4 effing straight, and then the Penguins scored 1 and made it close, and then the Russian kid embarrassed himself and his organization with an empty net goal, and the boys win the game 5-3.
7-game road trip and you only lose 1 game in regulation, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
The Penguins put out a compilation of some of the great pranks that the Flower has pulled over the years. When back he was in Pittsburgh, one of them, he was hiding in a guy's bag. He put himself all the way in there. A guy unzipped it and he jumped out.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
He took a teammate's entire clothes, like all of his street clothes, and had his car keys and his wallet in the pockets, and hung it from the rafters, and had it dangling down about 15 feet above the ice. A lot of stuff like that. Like our guy Foligno has said, he's such a good prankster, and it really shows.
I like that trick of hiding yourself in a hockey bag, but by God, it's not that difficult these days. Have you seen the size of bag?
Yeah, they're huge.
I know there's some text coming in now. Have you seen the size of the bags on these hockey players? It's unbelievable. Dana, you might even be able to get into one of those damn things these days.
They're monstrous.
Where in the old days it was just All right, so Theo Fleury, that's not his name. Marc-Andre Fleury stopped 26 shots in what will likely be his final game in Pittsburgh. Fred Gaudreau scored twice. Sid Crosby had 3 assists. So Fleury acknowledged the crowd. There was a video tribute. He got a standing ovation. It was emotional, as they said.
Yeah, it's great.
Penguins with another good start in the sense of building a 2-goal lead. But it's that man and his team that's going to come out of here with the win, and the fans recognize him accordingly. Final 12.7 seconds of him on a Pittsburgh sheet of ice. We'll let them take you down.
Well, that's just touching. But the Pigs have won 5 of their last 6. Like Brad said, they had a very successful road trip. Pittsburgh has lost 6 games in a row. They finally come back to the home rink. They fire up a 3-game homestand Friday against, how do you call that club? The Tampa Bay Lightning. You want to hear a little story? Let me see if I can explain this one to you properly, because it goes here, it goes there. The Carolina Hurricanes Hockey Club. They ran into an issue after beating the completely unnecessary Seattle Kraken in Seattle on Saturday. The Canes, as they call them, were slated to hop on one of those airplanes and go straight to Vancouver after they beat the completely unnecessary. Okay? But their plane had a mechanical issue, and they had to pour the fellas onto a bus for a 3-hour ride up to British Columbia, going from Seattle to British Columbia. They should have got on the airplane. The airplane was broken. Now all the boys are on the bus. That snafu threw off their post-game meal plans. Normally, they sit on that airplane, and they got a pile of grub for the fellas waiting for them. But since they had to get on a bus, no food for all these 23-year-old, European kids. They need something or another to eat. So they tried dialing up a McDonald's restaurant on the internet. Defenseman Brent Burns, of course, spent some time here with the Pigs.
God, is he still playing?
Yeah, he's hanging on. Brent Burns decided he'd be in charge of making an order to the McDonald's for his hockey club. 100 cheeseburgers, he said.
Oh, my God.
That's what he dialed up on his cell phone. But the McDonald's joint had closed for the night. Unless you're in a regular car, then you can still go through the drive-thru. But these poor bastards were on a big fat-ass old bus with a driver named Walt. Word is Burns, who still goes around town with that oversized beard on his face, it's just ridiculous looking. He got out of the bus. He managed to convince a random driver to let him get in their car and have the stranger drive him through the McDonald's drive-thru to grab those 100 cheeseburgers.
That's adorable.
So the boys were able to get something or another to eat thanks to some random person driving around late at night in Washington. Surprised you let Burnsy in the car.
Oh, yeah.
Really.
If you didn't notice,
He probably had to explain who he was first, I'm guessing.
Here's the sad part. They probably had all those burgers ready anyway.
What?
Well, 100 burgers? How long do you think that probably would take a long time?
Yeah.
Don't they normally have a ton already made?
Ask Wapple. He used to work at
Not that many that late.
Yeah, not that late at night.
No.
Not that late at night, but I could probably get it done in 15 minutes.
100 cheeseburgers?
Wow. Oh, yeah.
But at that point in the night, you and the boys are back in the freezer smoking J's, right?
No, by the trash can.
By the trash can.
Oh, by the dumpster?
You could really cut loose with 100 cheeseburgers in 15 minutes?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Dude, I'm having a barbecue this weekend. What are you doing?
Really?
That is great. So Bernsey gets out. He's walking around somewheres in the middle of the state of Washington, knocking on car windows. Hey, will you drive me through the... He probably did have to explain.
Oh, yeah.
Lucky he did get stabbed to death or something as well, you know what I mean?
It was pretty funny. The article said he looks like someone you'd expect to be cast in Murderous Hillbilly #2.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I'll tell you what, those airplane spreads, those private airplane spreads on the way back from games, pretty incredible.
You miss those a little bit?
Yes, I do.
What did they have for you, Brad? Right.
Very much. What?
What did they have for you?
Steak and, I mean, just top-of-the-line food. I mean, seriously.
Better than the spreads they have in the teacher's lounge at the university?
Yeah, we don't have any spreads here in the teacher's lounge. We don't even have a teacher's lounge here where I'm at, but anyway.
And even was it the Twins or Wolves that had better food?
I would say the Wolves probably did, just because I think there's fewer...
Less people.
Yeah, there's fewer of us in the traveling party, so I mean,
sure.
Yeah, I think, but yeah, no, it was, and really, I mean, whatever you want, and of course, when you're eating that stuff at 11, 12 o'clock at night, that makes for a nice, gut bomb about 3 a.m. when you get home too. But
yeah, did you ever get gas on the airplane?
Oh, sure. Well, of course, everybody does, don't they? Yeah.
Well, my buddy Curtis does. I learned that a few years ago when we went to Milwaukee.
I did lose about 10 pounds after I stopped working there, though.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you get home from these trips at 2, 3 in the morning, and you've eaten at midnight, and you've had a steak and whatnot, and you shouldn't eat that late at night anyway, and you're doing that routinely, and when you stop doing that, then you get in better eating habits.
You just Dutch oven the wife to death.
Hey, I'm home. Honey, I'm home.
We know.
Did you miss me?
Oh, that's gross, Brad Ryder, but I'm glad they fed you well over there.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Don't feel sorry for those guys.
Got to have a bite to eat. All right, just when my blood pressure got under control, Cubby sends me an article about the Travis and Jason Kelce Christmas song.
God.
They won the best looking podcasters of the year.
Okay, don't care.
Should have been you guys.
Yeah, right.
Travis and JC, how do you say their names again?
Jason.
Travis and Jason Kelce have released a video teasing their upcoming Christmas song. The album will be released on November 29th. Oh, it will go down as a dark day in music history.
I don't think you'd hate Jason Kelce.
I hate him.
If you watch some of them.
Now listen to this now.
You know all the Swifties are going to buy it.
Yeah, dude, I was just thinking, what if she...
You know all the Swifties are going to buy it, so it's going to sell.
I hope they put her on the track. That'd be sweet.
Here, there are real live musicians involved in the project. And I'll no longer be buying these people's records either because of how angry I am with them for getting involved in something so miserable. Boys to Men, Josh's brother's favorite band.
Yeah, he punched me over that band once, right in the face.
I remember when you told us the story of your brother, he hit you right in the yapper.
He sure did.
Because you said, Boys to Men sucks.
I did.
All right, so Boys to Men somehow got talked into this. This one, I thought she was done with hard drugs. It says Stevie Nicks agreed to help them out with this from Fleetwood Mac. I thought she was off drugs.
Well, it's great publicity for anybody that jumps on this thing.
She toured last year, about a year ago, when Billy Joel was here at U.S. Bank Stadium. She opened for him for about an hour. She was fantastic.
Yeah, Stevie Nicks is 77 years old.
I know, but she was still very good.
No, I'm talking to Dana. Yeah. I'm talking to... She doesn't need a publicity bump.
Well, I was talking about Boys to Men and stuff. What have they done lately? It's got to be helpful for them.
They're sitting on a mountain of gold. Boys to Men. They sold more records than God.
They tore brothers apart back in the day.
They did. They ruined families. With their beautiful songs. Stevie Nicks. I can believe she was great.
Yeah. It was really good.
I do like some of those Fleetwood Mac songs from back in the day.
Yeah, I heard she was very, very good at Red Rocks, too.
And when she was young, I just thought she was stunningly hot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, when
Just
she was
beautiful.
she'd be doing, she'd spin around in circles with that hippie outfit. That
She's still got the long hair, too. I mean,
oh, God.
Her and Linda Ronstadt.
Ooh. Well, then, of course, we could go, you know how I operate with the 70s and 80s gals. You got to throw in Olivia Newton-John. You got to throw in,
sure.
Who am I missing? But back in the day when Fleetwood Mac used to sing that song, they called it Silver Springs. You could be my silver spring, true something, colors flashing. Anybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. When they played it live a number of years ago, it was just beautiful. Just beautiful. The Vikings made a trade for a new left tackle. He goes by the name of Cam Robinson. He's played the same position of left tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars, so supposedly he knows what he's doing. Christian Darrisaw, the Vikings' regular left tackle, dude is done for the year after getting mangled in that last ball game against the Los Angeles Rams. So they got a new left tackle, Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder.
It didn't sound like it cost them all that much either. I think just a fifth round that could turn into a fourth round depending on his playing time. So, but I mean, again, they didn't have a lot of room to maneuver for things either. So, the guy's a proven player, and that's you know, for the Vikings right now, they see this window as right now. They are not going to. They are going to do everything they can to have success this year because they see this window as this is it. This is their opportunity. So
that was kind of the question we asked on Monday when we were talking about this. Are they going to be, you know, what are they going to do with the trading deadline coming up? And I think that answered that question pretty
well. They were forced to do this just because again, not to belabor the point, but I mean, what were they doing? Why did they even run a play?
Oh, yeah.
To put themselves in that position. But, I mean, I'll give them credit. It sounds like they found a player to fill Darrisaw's shoes. This guy does have a history of knee problems, but has been pretty consistently playing. So hopefully he'll be the answer at left tackle. But you're right. They're going to go. They're going to do what it takes right now because they feel like they've got an opportunity to not only make the postseason, but maybe do something in the postseason.
All right. Well, I'm happy they got that settled, and hopefully this kid can protect the quarterback. I gotta address a couple of text messages here real quick. Our listening audience is friggin' funny. Back to the Jason and Brad Kelce. I can't think of the other one.
Travis.
Back to the Jason and Travis Kelce Christmas record. Listener texted in simply with the statement, "Real men don't sing Christmas songs."
What?
Well, what do you misunderstand about that statement?
Sorry, Josh.
Real men don't sing Christmas songs. That's just the guy's thoughts on the record. And I have to know. No, my just perfect timing. My text machine just burped, and I lost a bunch of action here. I have to ask a question to Social Anxiety Jesus. Texted in and said, "He's a damn dude, bro, frat party douche." Who are you referring to? Social Anxiety Jesus.
Kelce's one of them, or both of them?
I mean, say what you will about the Kelce brothers, but I feel like they would be great hosts at a barbecue.
Oh, God, are you kidding? No.
They'd have the grills going, they'd have all the beers out.
No.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Neither one of them is coming anywhere near my barbecue. Wapple's going to be busy making 100 cheeseburgers.
I got 100 burgers
in
to
50.
Make. We're not dealing with that.
Are you out of your mind? You want those two clown asses anywhere near your barbecue?
Yeah, they seem like good guys.
Oh, I got my craft
Even
beer and
Travis?
I got my big beard.
Jason more than Travis, but
You know Travis.
I'm done with it. I'm done with both of them.
The video of Jason Kelce dancing on the stage just gets me going.
All right, that was pretty annoying.
I don't know why.
I agree. He's kind of lost a little.
Yeah.
He was great before, but maybe it's just too much overexposure.
Jason Kelce probably insists that we drink craft beer at your barbecue.
He seems like a domestic-like kind of guy.
Oh, no, you stop it. We're going to go to war over this. I'm so friggin' burned out on both of those bastards. Here's some happy football. It is. Cubby says it's too much. That means it's too much. Here's some
just wait till Jason Kelce runs for political office because he's flirted with that too. That idea.
Oh, has he really?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Really?
What are you saying? It could get any worse than where we're at right now?
Well, you'll get more exposure out of him. Is what I'm saying.
I'd welcome him. I would. As much as I dislike him, I'd welcome him over what we got going these days.
Well, yeah. I don't think there's any question.
Here's some happy football news. Something we can all agree on. Joe Flacco is going to start for the Indianapolis Colts Saturday against the Vikings. I love watching old Joe Flacco operate.
Me too.
With his saggy old testicles.
They benched Anthony Richardson for that.
They did, didn't
hilarious.
Last year,
he's exhausted.
Last year he comes off the couch and he gets the Comeback Player of the Year award.
That Richards underwear on for the first time.
He got one leg stuck in it.
My favorite story about Joe Flacco is a couple of years ago. He has a couple of sons, I guess, that are young still. A couple of years ago, one of his kids said something about, "Wow, the Super Bowl." And Joe Flacco says, "Well, your dad played in a Super Bowl, and your dad won a Super Bowl." And the kid said, "No, you didn't." And he had to sit him down and play him a video of himself playing in that Super Bowl, whenever that was, 10-some-odd years ago. He said, "Look, that's me. I swear to God, that's me." The kid said, "You didn't win a Super Bowl."
Well, I mean, the Viking secondary's had a little bit of issue the last 2 weeks with drop-back passers, so I wouldn't sleep on this.
I think he's going to carve him up.
We love Joe Flacco. We know what he's capable of.
Yeah, he gives them their best chance to win right there.
Yeah, for sure.
It's nice to see guys my age still out there slinging it. So that Richardson kid hasn't fared so well. So they're going to go with Joe Flacco. Although I read some folks, NFL junkies who can't get enough, they said, well, this is... what's the term? I do this so often now. I'm losing my friggin' mind. Counterproductive. If you really think Richardson is the guy, you let him go out there and F the dog anyway, just to give him experience and just to help him learn the position. They're calling it a mistake to hand it over to Flacco, because then how's Richardson going to get any better? But since we're not Colts fans, who cares?
I think in this case, though, part of this, if I'm not mistaken, is the fact that Richardson actually took himself out of the game during a crucial drive because he said he was tired and needed a break.
Yeah, right.
And I think that whole thing blew up surrounding him. And he's not played particularly well either, but he is their franchise quarterback. And I think that combination, and the fact that when Flacco was in there when Richardson was hurt, did really well. All those things come into play in making that decision. There are many football coaches that would say this is actually going to be a good thing for Richardson. He can sit and watch and maybe learn a few things from a guy like Flacco for sure. So,
old Joe.
I mean, it should make for an interesting sub-story on Sunday night when they play the Vikings, for sure.
I wonder when he's in the locker room walking around in his drawers, I wonder if Joe Flacco has what do you call these things again? The garter belt for his socks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Remember how our grandfathers wore garter belts to keep their socks up? I wonder if Joe's got that. Stephon Diggs, wide receiver for the Houston Texans, he's gone ahead and torn his ACL. He's going to have to sit out the rest of the football season.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
I saw that news. I figured you'd be pretty buzzed up about it, Nick.
It's heartbreaking. Over half of American sports fans are more likely to know their favorite team's record than how much they have saved for retirement.
Well, the Bills are 6-2 and 0, so
so you don't count there.
What about? Okay, I'll go. I don't know, but the friggin' wife does. Is that close enough? I don't know what we have.
Well, I think it's hard to keep track. I mean, I stay on top of that stuff pretty well, but with the markets the way they are, you don't know from month to month unless you're looking at it every day.
Yeah, I know that the Timberwolves are 2-3.
2-2, I think.
2-2. I don't exactly know what we have in the bank, but that's something that the friggin' wife doesn't want me in charge of that kind of thing. I can't be trusted with $10. So over half of us know our favorite team's record better than we know how much we have saved for retirement.
I will say this.
Yes.
Once you get to retirement, you know where your money is, and I don't know the records of the teams.
That changes things.
Are you on a fixed income, Randy?
What's that?
Are you on a fixed income?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you would have asked me this 10 years ago, I would have went, oh, God, I definitely will be. Not so much now. I mean, still a little bit, but life's been pretty good.
My old man always used that whenever, even like just paying for one round of beers, we'd say, oh, yeah, you got it. No, fixed income.
I can certainly understand in the first year or two after you retire that you keep really close tabs on that stuff just to make sure. Yeah.
Sure. And you're right about the You're right about the markets, but I think that the best advice that a money person ever gave me was don't look at it every day.
Right.
That just it defeats the purpose. It's going to change, and historically, it's always been a certain way, and you'll be fine. So
and that's why I don't know in my mid-50s, but I surely will know when I'm in my mid-60s.
64% of Americans believe they started thinking about retirement later than they should have. Oh, God, that's
correct.
That is me. Again, I give all the credit to the friggin' wife. When we hooked up, I had no idea.
Yeah. Well,
I got to be clear here. I had no idea what I had, how to save it, where to put it, what to do with it. Yeah. I mean, absolutely zero idea. A sixth grader has more of an idea of how to handle their money than I did. Thankfully, she is quite skilled in those departments.
And Randy will agree with this, too. The two biggest things that can happen to get you closer to retirement is your kids getting through college and getting jobs, and if you decide to downsize your home with the equity that you have in your home. If you do those two things, you're probably ready to go.
Yep. I mean, you're a lot closer.
Yeah, you're a lot closer. Yep.
Kids getting through college.
This has been Money Talk on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
But I mean, probably one of the reasons why people don't think about retirement until later is that you're too busy with life. I mean, you're too busy trying to get through each day with kids and, sure, you should be thinking about it. You should be planning for it, but it just gets to be, sometimes life just gets in the way.
Life, Randy said it. He said it that way. And you know what Josh always says? Life, yes, it finds a way.
Yes.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the friggin' wife, I would have absolutely zero idea as to what the hell is going on.
You'd be working till you were 70.
I would. I might still have to work till I'm 70. But
the last piece of financial advice I will give you, we need to get this sponsored, is don't rely on Social Security either.
Okay.
Of course not. No.
I don't even understand what that means. I'm being totally honest with you. I don't even understand what that means.
I remember in 7th grade, we had a teacher tell us, you're not going to get it.
Yep.
People our age.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what, though? We've been hearing that for a long time, Josh.
You may get it, but you just shouldn't rely on it to make, to live comfortably. That's what I'm saying.
But the point is, we've been hearing that for a long time, that it's going to go away, and it's still here, and it's very important to politicians to make sure that it's still there. It's always going to be in the discussion unless something radical happens. And so, I think everybody should just take a deep breath and just hope that, we continue on the right path so that people, your age will have that when it's time.
I don't even know what it is.
And I'll cross over into, don't everybody get all nervous about this, a little political statement. Neither party
God,
is
you've been waiting for this opportunity.
No. Neither party is going to take away Social Security. So everybody, like Randy said, just take a deep breath. It's not going to happen.
Okay. You might as well be speaking Japanese right now. I don't even know what the hell it is you're talking about. We got to go, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder. You guys have been great.
All right.
We'll talk soon. Damn soon. Hope you feel better, Randy Shaver.
Half-assed morning show. They're loud. They lose control. They do their little circus act. They're a nuisance. 93X.
Our technicians are geared up and ready to make sure your system is running reliably this winter. Regular maintenance from Standard Heating and Air Conditioning helps prevent costlier breakdowns in the future, and we know they always happen at the worst time.
Hey, Ashley here. Get your home ready for winter. Schedule your furnace tune-up with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and save $30. Have a boiler? Save $40 on your boiler tune-up. Visit standardheating.com to book and lock in your savings. Stay cozy, stay ready.
Every week, Michael Rosenbaum is getting deep with someone new on the Inside of You podcast. Actor James Marsters.
Are you somewhat content? Do you still stress a lot?
If anything, I feel guilty that I have it so good. If you make the decision to be an actor, the deal is poverty. I don't understand. How did I get here? And the answer, how did I get here, is really one audition one day for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, wherever you listen.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
We welcome you back to the 93X effing Half-Assed Morning Show. Folks still texting in, Josh, trying to guess what your favorite sexual kink is. Do you want to hear some of the guesses?
Yeah, maybe I'm going to get into something new with some of these I hadn't considered before.
Let me give folks some background in case they weren't listening earlier. We were having a very steamy conversation about the most common or popular sexual kinks here in the once proud United States of America. Josh went ahead and said, well, I have a favorite kink. And I thought, really? Old straight-laced cubby even gets a little filthy now and again, right? But he doesn't want to say it. He doesn't want to out himself. So he passed me a note, wrote down what his favorite kink is. Now, it's nothing horrible, nothing shocking. It's become more common in the last, I'd say, 25, 30 years, your favorite sexual kink. You'd agree with that, right, Josh?
Yeah, it seems pretty benign, but, I don't know.
Right.
I think you could consider it a kink.
But you don't want us to say it out loud, so listeners have taken to guessing this favorite kink of yours. If they guessed correctly, would you admit it? Maybe?
I don't want to promise that. Maybe.
Okay,
we'll
maybe.
see what kind of mood I'm in.
All right. Listeners have been texting in their guesses on Josh's favorite sexual kink. The number is 651-989-9393 if you want to make any further guesses. Okay, the oddball Jesus. Josh, is it fisting?
No, God, no.
Jeez.
Oh, my gosh.
No.
Don't have one of those Borat rubber fists laying around at home?
I do not.
Now
It's not butt stuff. A lot of people saying butt stuff. I do not like butt stuff.
We established that earlier. That's
on either end?
Yeah, nothing to do with the backyard. Here's a guess that kind of mixes kink with a real serious issue you had back in the day. And it also mixes in something you're very passionate about in the last number of years. I'll just dump it on you. Josh's favorite kink. Is it going on a ride-along while wearing a diaper?
I do enjoy that.
Again, what's the most obscure ride-along you've ever gone ahead with?
Boy,
Wasn't it an electrician?
I've done that with an electrical contractor, sure. Not the diaper part, but I've gone on a ride-along.
And also, awesome. they play off of when you were a kid, you had problems wetting your pants and wetting the bed.
Constantly.
So it's not going...
Not just a kid. It was concerning how old that was.
Right.
How long that lasted.
I love hearing about that. All the way up till you were what age? Like 14 or something like that?
Pretty close.
Walking around with pee in your pants and you're...
Quite often at my bed.
You could be, going to war in 4 years. That's amazing. So it has nothing to do with going on a ride-along and wetting an adult diaper.
No. A lot of people are some stuff that I consider extreme is coming in. No, it's nothing. It's really not that big of a thing. It's just, little. I don't really want to say it.
Don't be overthinking this if you're going to text in and guess. It's nothing repulsive, nothing gross. It's gotten more and more common. 40, 50 years ago, it might have been shocking, but not for quite a stretch of time. Do you like to watch your wife take a leak?
Okay. I never was into anything like that before, and I accidentally saw her once when the dog opened the door when she was in there.
Yeah.
And it titillated me more than I would have thought. But I've never requested it. I've never gone back.
There ain't a damn thing wrong with that.
It surprised me, the reaction I had.
The story titillates me.
Does it really?
It does.
Yeah.
Is Josh into boob sex?
Well, I don't know if I'd say into.
Is that? Well, I guess, is that your kink?
No,
that's not your specific favorite kink.
And if the option is there, I'd love that.
Stuck porn.
No, that actually disturbs me.
Yeah, you get bothered by stuck porn.
I don't like the idea of that.
You just don't like the idea of porn in general sometimes.
Well, that's true, but that one is concerning.
It is odd.
All right, here's a list. I see a lot of guesses coming in. You're going to have to sift through those, Cubby. My God, people are interested in what your favorite kink is. I just saw one cruise by on my text machine. Penis shaming.
No, that's actually that's a fear.
That's a fear.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a text message says, if you can't tell us what Josh's kink is, they're asking me, can you tell us Donnie's favorite kink? My pal Donnie.
Which Donnie?
I think I know the one they're talking about. And he doesn't get up till around noon, so he'll never know that I outed him. Sure, I'll tell you what, Donnie is a kinky guy. I know from conversations with him that his favorite kink is erotic hypnosis.
Oh. Wow.
Donnie's into erotic hypnosis. If you haven't heard of it, he says he likes to be hypnotized by a lady, and then he becomes, through hypnosis, her zombie sex slave.
Oh, wow.
That's erotic. Have you heard of that, Ashley?
Never.
Erotic hypnosis?
There's a lot to wrap your head around.
That's what Donnie likes.
Yeah.
So he becomes this subservient. Is that the proper word, Josh?
Yeah.
Zombie sex slave. Where, like, if you watch a zombie movie, what does a zombie might say? Brains, right? But Donnie says stuff like, must hold off until she orgasms. That's like
edgy.
All right, yesterday, early in the morning, we were talking about our greatest fears. If you ask a large group of people, what would be our most common fears? Today, our most common nightmares. That was the song you were playing right there, wasn't it?
It was.
My Effin' Nightmare, is that what they call that song?
Just nightmare.
Just nightmare.
Yeah.
You could throw in he does say the F word.
Oh, he says it a couple times.
Oh, Americans, I should say, most common nightmares. I'll go 10-1. Number 10. Being injured is our 10th.
Don't remember ever having one of those.
Our 10th most common nightmare. Being injured. Yeah, I'm racking my brain. Not that I remember a lot of nightmares. There's a few that I'll never forget. But, okay. None of us, I guess, have experienced that, but it's common enough to make the top 10.
Yeah, never been hurt.
A nightmare about being injured. Number 9. A loved one dying.
That's very sad.
Yeah,
luckily,
I've had those.
You have? I haven't had that.
I've had one where I was the reason why. That was awful.
Oh, gee. Like murder? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I was taking
How did you kill a loved one in your dream?
What was it?
You were taking a poop? Is that what you're going to say?
No, I was trying to remember it exactly. I think it was just like a shovel or an axe.
You
it
killed
was something
them.
that was on top of the head. I remember that.
So it wasn't accidental. It was a murder.
Yeah, it was. Whoa. At the time, I was trying to find the right anxiety medication that worked, and sometimes you can have crazy nightmares or crazy dreams.
That's
from
what
that
I
kind
hear.
Of stuff.
That messes with you.
Oh my gosh, that one messed me up. It was my brother. I had to text him the next day to make sure he was okay because I was like,
I killed you in my dream?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Now you're saying you remember specifically you killed one of your brothers with a shovel?
Yep. Yeah, he was trying, in the dream, he was trying to hurt one of my dogs.
So I've heard the quitting smoking drugs
Dude.
those ones are outrageous.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law and brother-in-law went through it, and both of them said it was just absolutely crazy, the dreams they were having.
Just
it's so
dripping
vivid.
with blood and guts and screaming violence when you try to quit smoking and they give you this particular dope. Yeah, I've heard people say if they could sell their dreams to Hollywood, it would be the most horrific movie that anyone has ever... Okay.
I've never had a dream about a loved one passing away, but I kind of had something that was the opposite. It's a couple years after
a fantasy?
Well,
I've had fantasies about loved ones passing away. I have.
It was a couple years after my beloved childhood dog, Cody, rest in peace, passed away. We had to put him down. Beautiful boy. I had a dream that because I was in college at the time, that I stopped by my parents' place and they said, hey, go up in your room. We have a surprise for you. And I went up in my room, and there was Cody, alive and well and excited to see me. And I woke up just crushed. When you realize it's a dream, I was just devastated. I was like,
sad.
Cody was alive for a little bit. It was so wonderful.
That is hilarious.
I've had a dream, people coming back into my life who were terrible people. People who I was glad were out of my life. I've had that dream many times. I know, Nick, you've had that dream too.
Okay, sure. You just when you think you're rid of someone, and you are in the real world, you have a dream that somehow they're back into your daily life. Oh, sure, I've had that dream. It's miserable.
Nightmare.
All right, our 8th most common nightmare. Waking up late. Oh, God, what time is it? Yeah, those are...
Wouldn't call that a nightmare.
No, it's like a stress dream.
Yeah, somebody's telling you, but I murdered my brother in my dream last night. Oh, man, I dreamt that I was late for work.
Good point.
I suppose maybe that shouldn't be called a nightmare, but we've all had plenty of those.
Especially if you nap during the afternoon during this time of year, right?
Every day. Every day I nap during the afternoon. Number 7, okay, maybe like Josh said, I didn't think of it this way, but maybe we shouldn't call these nightmares. But number 7, the most common nightmare we have around here, missing an important event.
I've had, not necessarily that, but not being prepared for an important event. I've had that dream where, whether or not it was work, where I show up and realize, oh my God, I did no prep last night. I have no idea what's going on today.
And then bingo, you're live.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, here you go. Or nothing's loaded up, nothing.
Stress-related, work-related.
Yeah. Didn't study for a test. I remember back in school thinking that.
Oh, I still get those all the time.
That's because you never studied for a test.
Exactly.
I always got those. I'm still surprised I still get on like server nightmares where I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, I forgot to give somebody their ranch.
I get those dreams where I just hear the ticket keep coming. You know, when you're in the kitchen, tick 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 tick.
Order up, order up,
God,
order up.
That's the worst noise. Someone, please get this food. Hands,
hands, chef.
As far as a dream or nightmare about missing an important event, it brings me back to there's only a handful of dreams that I will remember forever. And for whatever reason, this one stands out. In the real world, many years ago, a guy that I used to work on air with, the two of us, were scheduled to interview Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley from KISS. This was 1996 or 7, and I had been waiting my entire life to meet any member of KISS. I hadn't at that point in my life. And so this was incredibly exciting for me. This is before KISS became the silliest act in America. 1996, they had just reunited. It was just, I could not believe that I was going to have this opportunity. So, this is all in the real world. The night before Gene and Paul were to come in studio live and sit all day with us on our morning show, the night before, I had a nightmare to where I was sitting in my chair in the radio studio, and my partner, my on-air partner, said, here they are, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley from KISS. In my dream, I went blind as soon as they walked in the door.
Oh, weird.
Oh, no.
So I was unable to see them.
Oh.
Everything went fine the next day, except Gene Simmons was an incredible douchebag on that day. Our 6th biggest or most common nightmare, being attacked.
I've had that, and then you try and run and you can't move.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I used to have a reoccurring nightmare where I was riding a bike and it was just like stuck in place like a stationary bike.
And you were attacked?
Yeah, like I was getting chased. Yeah, I was constantly getting chased.
That brings me back to the Tom Brady dream, being attacked, my Tom Brady dream from all those years ago. Number 5, the most common nightmare, feeling trapped. Maybe you're in a cave or buried alive or in a house that you can't get out of, something like that. Number 4, feeling lost.
I do have those dreams where it's like I'm leaving Target Center, I'm trying to find my car, but things in Minneapolis are all jumbled around, and I'm just walking aimlessly trying to find, my car or trying to get home, and it's very stressful.
Is it the feeling like you've had so many times being fired over and over and over again from every place you've worked? You haven't been there long enough to know where you parked your car.
Exactly.
You're looking for it.
It's my first day.
Number 3, you have a nightmare of your death.
I don't believe I've ever had that nightmare.
Like every time before I die, that's like when I wake up, usually.
Oh, I should be more specific here. Maybe not specifically death, but dying.
Okay, yeah, then
because there are still some people who say it's very rare to die in your dream.
Yeah, people have always said, or I've always heard, it's probably a wives' tale, that like if you die in your dream, you're dead in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually I'm like...
That's absolute silliness.
Yeah.
Right. I heard that in first grade, I think.
Yeah, usually I'm like falling off like someone chases me, I jump off a building because I hate heights, and then all of a sudden I'm falling, and then before I hit the pavement, that's when I wake up.
Okay, number 2 is being chased.
I have that one a lot.
Yeah, I have
Who's chasing you, Dana?
Somebody who wants
not
to
a
do
group
harm
of
to
women,
me.
I would imagine.
No, God, no. I'm chasing them, and then I'm actually being chased by the police for chasing the pretty women.
Number 3 is dying, as far as our most common nightmares. Number 2 is being chased. And okay, back to dying. I do specifically remember dying in one dream, and that was the Tom Brady dream. Okay, all of what we've been discussing here in the last 2-3 minutes comes into play in the top 3 most common nightmares. Number 3, dying. Number 2, being chased. And number 1, falling.
Yeah, I have that one a lot.
Do you really?
Yep.
Oh, that makes sense,
that's
'cause you're
probably
afraid
like
of heights.
Yeah, for nightmares, that's probably the most common one for me.
I have the following ones where it's not I'm falling off a building or a cliff or anything, but I'm walking, all of a sudden I just like fall, and then I jolt myself awake. That one happens quite common when I'm napping in the afternoon.
Didn't you once have a dream, Ashley, where you're carrying 2 bags of soup and you fell and broke your face open?
Oh, no, that wasn't a dream. That really
that
happened.
happened.
Yes,
That
that happened.
And then you sent us all a gnarly picture from the ER of your face just covered in blood.
Yep, first thing I thought, like, I got to show the guys what happened.
A third of people have had the dream about teeth falling out. I've definitely had that.
I've had that.
Oh, I've never had a dream where then the teeth fall out.
Me either.
There's a listener who's texting in and insisting that if you die in your dream, you die for real. No, you don't.
How would anyone know that?
Yeah.
Well,
Point.
I can tell you that. I died in one of my dreams, but I woke up just fine the next day.
I'm saying, let's say you're an anomaly, and 9 out of 10 people die in their dreams die in real life. How would anybody ever know that?
Right. Now I see what you mean.
Now I'm thinking of a lot of them. I had this one nightmare where I was swimming and I got sucked into like the what would it be called?
The drain?
Yeah, like the drain.
The arms of a serial killer.
Yeah. So I got sucked into the drain. Like, my swimsuit got stuck in the drain and I couldn't get back up.
Oh, no.
And that's killed people, sadly.
Oh, that kind of a drain? That suction bubble thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
1 in 4 of us have had a nightmare. This is hilarious. 1 in 4 of us have had a nightmare about their spouse leaving them. Are we calling that a nightmare? Some less common ones. 14% of people have had nightmares about car trouble. Some folks have had a dream where they can't find their car.
Dana.
Yeah, that's me.
Some folks have had a bad dream about a tech malfunction.
That happens to me all the time.
I bet it does.
It's work-related.
Yeah.
Shoot, it happened like in real life 3 times today.
Yeah.
Some people have a nightmare about going bald.
Well, it sucks at first. You get used to it.
If you go bald in your dream, you go bald in real life.
Are you serious?
Yes, you do. All right, if you think we're sticking around here later than 9 a.m., you're out of your friggin' mind. I got a couple of text messages here we can address before we get the hell out of here. Maybe something else we can talk about, too. What were we saying? We were talking about nightmares, the most common nightmares that we Americans have. You're dying, you're falling, you're trapped, you're being chased, all that stuff. All of that friggin' stuff. 715 Wild Man Jesus texted in about a nightmare he had once. Josh, have you ever heard of this? What does this mean? Maybe you know a little bit about dream analysis. He was sexually involved with Jim Carrey's Grinch character.
Oh, no.
That's a kink.
Oh,
you know, why the Grinch character? Why not the one that was dating the mayor? That character from the Grinch. Remember that?
I never saw it.
Oh, it's so good. He
was involved in a sexual tryst with Jim Carrey's Grinch character. People are still guessing what your favorite kink is, Josh. Josh told us earlier on this morning he has a favorite kink, but he's not going to tell anybody about it. So our listeners have had to go ahead and guess. Josh, is your favorite kink watching your wife masturbate while you're in the closet and you're masturbating too, and you're in a Superman costume?
Jeez.
No. I'm a Marvel guy. I wouldn't be caught dead in a Superman costume.
Does your favorite sexual kink involve our printer?
No way. Listen, that printer has been through enough abuse. We got this brand new pristine one. I wouldn't want to tarnish it.
Some bitch was brand new, too.
No wonder we're broke around here.
All right, before we go, was it an off-air conversation that we had yesterday about some people called the Costco guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
That was an off-air conversation.
Correct.
Okay, up until I think Ashley brought them up yesterday off-air. I've never heard of these dudes, but Ashley says they're the hottest thing since Jonathan at the Waterfront Village. As far as social media goes, Ashley says they're the hottest thing on social media since Jonathan when he was hanging out at the Waterfront Village. The Costco guys, it says here, they're known for bringing the boom and making terrible music videos about the boom.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't figure out yet, based on like social media, if people love these guys or absolutely hate them.
I'm with you on that. I don't fully get it either yet.
You've seen them do their thing, Josh? Am I, as usual, the only one who isn't aware of these people?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know they're crazy popular, but I'm not 100% sure why yet.
Well, for folks who don't know, there's a one cat named AJ Befumo, or known simply as...
AJ is all I've heard, yeah.
Known as AJ. He's become a TikTok star with his son, who is known as Big Justice. And they have a show called The Rizzler. Is this all accurate, what I'm saying?
Yes.
Man, the Rizzler.
The Rizzler.
My son and his friends say Rizzler a lot.
They are food influencers, is what they're called here. And just interrupt me if I'm wrong. This is all, I'm just reading this off of, they're food influencers. They love to eat food, and they always say that whatever food they're eating brings the boom.
Yep, they'll like flex their arm. And yeah, so like say they eat something that's delicious. They'll be like, I give this 5 booms. And then they'll go boom, boom. Yeah, yep.
Well, their 15 minutes of fame, apparently, is maybe going to be extended a little bit, because what I'm reading here is at least AJ is going to be involved in an AEW professional wrestling match. They're going to be wrestling at an AEW pay-per-view here next month by the name of Full Gear. It's going to take place in New Jersey. It sounds like AJ Befumo will be facing one of my all-time favorites, QT Marshall.
Oh, yeah.
And QT Marshall could make anybody look good in a wrestling ring. Mm-hmm. So expect to see more of these clowns, I guess, in the near future, Josh.
AJ's got some wrestling experience, I guess. So they said it's not going to be a complete joke that he's wrestled at least 45 matches. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
He has experience. It says here he was a independent wrestler for 20-some years, starting in 1999 all the way through 2021. So he knows what he's doing in the ring. He's wrestled under the names of Eric Justice, Power Child, Tundra was another name, ring name that he went by. That's terrible. Tundra.
Maybe he's trying to get a Toyota endorsement or something.
He's wrestled the Blue Meanie.
Oh.
He's teamed up with Hall of Famer Jim the Anvil Neidhart, God rest his soul. So if you're interested in seeing one of these two Costco guys at this Full Gear pay-per-view, they're going to be part of the pre-show. And you can see it on YouTube.
It'll be free, so you don't have to pay for that one.
The way
So there you go. Why are they called the Costco guys?
Because that's like
That's where
the
they
first
started.
thing they reviewed was the food at Costco.
They
which is
reviewed the
bomb.
food at Costco.
Yeah, at the little food court they got there.
Yeah, it was either boom or doom. They would say doom to something that was bad. But AEW Full Gear is AEW's WrestleMania, too. It's the biggest pay-per-view.
Oh, is it a big one?
Yeah.
I'd like to get in the ring with QT Marshall. He's good, and he's funny, too. So I'm sure they'll add some humor to the friggin' thing. So there you go. The damn Costco guys. I'll look for them. I still...
And no offense to these guys, but I kind of long for the days when people got famous for admitting they spit on wieners.
Those days are not too far ago. How do you get away with boom when you're reviewing food when you got Emeril Lagasse famous for bam? Remember when everybody? I had some friends that were so into that guy.
I don't know. We just had a band come through town called The Who, so I have a lot of questions about...
You kind of wonder, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
And maybe the Costco guys did that on purpose to tribute Emeril Lagasse. Is he still... You watch all that stuff, don't you, Dana? The cooking shows?
Yeah, I do. I never really got into Emeril. I don't really know much about him.
What the hell draws you to a cooking show?
Oh, I love that.
People love him.
I couldn't watch a cooking show if you put a samurai sword to my back.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, I don't know how to cook. Maybe that's part of it.
I think
or
that's
I
what
should
must
watch
be.
it, but
I couldn't care
know
less.
so many people that love those shows.
It's kind of comforting.
Couldn't care less how you make a salad.
It makes
Really
me
couldn't
nice and
possibly.
hungry, too.
And the game shows surrounding it, everything. People
Guys,
just...
grocery games, baby.
Chopped all day.
Yeah,
Chopped Kitchen Nightmares. Let's go.
It's pretty wild to me. But yeah, it's popular.
You want to hear wild? Wait till you hear Josh's kink, which he's going to reveal tomorrow on the program.
It's not that wild. Happy 18th birthday to baby Jesus from Dad, Cadillac Jesus. Happy birthday to diabetic equipment operating Jesus. And happy 34th to TNT Jesus, formerly Hayward Trash Driver Jesus from the Oddball Jesus. Have a happy hump day.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Hey, Ashley here. Get your home ready for winter. Schedule your furnace tune-up with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and save $30. Have a boiler? Save $40 on your boiler tune-up. Visit standardheating.com to book and lock in your savings. Stay cozy, stay ready.